You can fly, but you'll never get closer to the sun. You may rise at the price of everyone else falling down, but I'm not going down with you. So you may rise, but you'll never make me wanna stick around you. Won't let you fire me, won't let you drag me down. I won't even let the power that you own burn down the city, let it into the storm.
We have an opportunity to
tell me what's the point if I lose myself? Spend a couple days with nobody else, holding in my breath just to see if I can find you in my dreams. Oh, I'm getting tired of losing faith in
Welcome to the LXC.
Firelights, clone fears, clown games, dance, total bare minimum, ready to conquer it all. Frog floor shakes the air in this digital fight. Smells flying everywhere. Gaming till midnight. Rise up, clown gaming MMA. Champion.
This could be a historic moment in League of Legends esports. These guys came to fight! Huge clutch plays on the world stage here. He's still surviving, and now he's turning it around. Penta get the pentakill! The quadra kill! Gotta get it! You gotta be kidding me!
What kind of League of Legends are we watching? Yoichi is dead. my team, CG Blood Moon, is the GOAT.
Tonight, Crusaders will win. Strategies collide in the league's grand play. One step to the side, and the match sways. Flashing fire ignite.
Welcome to this evening featuring Clown Gaming Blood Moon versus Bare Minimum. I am Astroglider, and I am joined by, well, Righteous at the moment. Righteous will be available here shortly, but the lovely, the talented, the amazing Vish.
Oh,
you
thank
doing?
you. I'm
How are
here
you
to,
doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm filling in for Righteous until he gets here, as usual, because, he got to drive home from work. We are hearing that the sound is quiet, so I don't know if our producer can turn us up or not, but yeah, we are full 200%. My mic is as loud as it goes.
As is mine. Interesting. I will try to make some changes real quick and see if we can come in a little bit louder for folks. But in the meantime, let's talk about Clown Gaming Blood Moon and Bare Minimum. What are you expecting to see today?
I'm expecting to see a bloodbath. There's been a lot of hype between these two teams all week in chat. Bare Minimum fought really hard to get here, and they don't want to go home second place. And Clown Gaming has just been owning all split, so they don't want to go home second place. So I'm looking forward to some fun fights.
All right. Well, taking a look here, just some stats thrown around here. Resilient down in the bot lane, going crazy with 46 kills there, as well as rocking a pretty solid KDA, but not to be outdone. Wookie Monster, Abound, and Jace also almost to the 5 mark for Jace there, but everybody else is hovering around that 5.0 mark there for Clown Gaming. So they like to fight, they don't like to die. And looking at it, Bare Minimum, they've clawed their way in, but they do have a tall task this evening, going against this monster juggernaut that is Clown Gaming Blood Moon. We are waiting to get on the draft started, so let's take a look here, see what folks have been running, see if anything is going to be spicy or if it's going to be pretty much take away everybody's best pick. I have not actually been paying attention these last couple of patches here on what's been running strong. Unfortunately, I've been very busy with work, but it does look like got a few people that love to play some Viego. Ew. All right, and we are hopping right into draft.
Yeah,
Pretty
let's do it. Let's do it.
quick.
I love it. Let's see. I have first
All right.
bands are already up there, just ripping through 'em,
They
so
are coming right through. Yeah, I expected that Viego to go bye-bye real quick. I saw the stats there, and I was like, I don't think they're going to let that through.
Sendra's out. Let's see.
Let's see
I
what
can
they
never
got.
remember the name of that first one that got banned off of Blood Moon.
Talia. That would be Talia.
Thank you.
Talia got the ban.
I never see that played, so I haven't learned that name yet.
Talia, and then the obviously the Seraphine.
Yeah. There's Ivar.
We do see Mr. Ivar getting his ban. No friendly jungles today. I've been clamoring for a Cassiopeia support all this time, but I don't think I'm going to be seeing a Cassiopeia support.
I don't think I've seen Cass played as a support this split. I have seen her played mid, so there's that, but not support.
I've been begging for it, but unfortunately,
Lissandra. Really?
ooh,
Lissandra.
the list. I wonder if that's a target ban for top more than mid.
As possible. Kaisa, that's expected. Kaisa's been played a whole lot this split, so I do expect, she didn't make it through the first bans, then she's gonna be picked.
Let's see here. We got the Kaisa. What are they going to respond with against the Kaisa? Maybe taking something up front that wants to go into it? No, and electing to take the Ash.
So I guess we're not gonna see a Kog'Maw this game, Supporta.
No more Protected Kogma. I am
Yeah.
seeing the Skarner coming out. All right. Skarner's getting an uptick there in play recently. Still not the biggest fan of his rework, but
Yeah. Well, the reason they ask about Kog'Maw is because he with the change in the patch and new split and everything, Kog'Maw is one of the best ADCs now. So Braum. Okay. So we're going kind of classic with the Ashe and Braum. I like it. I like it.
does open up though on the Kaisa
Ah.
on what they want to copy. I wonder if the Poppy could be a flex. We'll have to see there, or if they're gonna just blind it, or if they're gonna flex it. You can kind of move Poppy around.
We'll see where she goes or if they flip her last second.
Teemo, Teemo, Team. No Teemo.
No, Timo.
Boo. But at
Before
least we do have a Yordle.
we do have a Yordle. Yes. Yes.
Will we
Poppy's been
see a
pretty good.
second?
The split way. That's
Hui's an interesting pick. You can flex it into more of the support Hui, which goes from doing absolutely nothing, and then in 30 minutes, just one shots half your team somehow as a support. Usually a mid set there in the mid.
I don't know that we've seen chat. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I don't know we've seen him support very much. We've seen him a lot mid, right? In the other leagues.
I would
Is my
typically
guess.
expect to see Hui mid at this point, at this elo. Putting him support down bottom, he does have quite a few counter picks, so to pick him like that could invite some trouble there.
Ori.
Do seeing the Oriana. I'm not familiar with the Oriana Hui matchup in mid. I unfortunately have not been playing much of the Oriana
With
these
the way
days.
with the way they it's way what? Way favored.
Is it
Our
way?
producers.
I would
Way
figure
good
because of
for
his
us.
combo, I would much have preferred like the Viger into that matchup to where you get a little bit more range and can prevent the Hui from still not from being able to get the farm that he'll be able to accumulate, but being able to poke him out of lane with the Viger is usually a pretty good selection. But opting more for the Oriana and then getting out and banning the Camille. So now we're going to target things that can try to dive onto this Ashe and bypass and get through. Camille getting a lot of play lately. The Darius coming out as a ban. Wow, they scared of the big Darius up there. All right. This would
Yeah, well
indicate
it's
to me
time
that
to
that Poppy might actually be top.
I say it's kind of time to look at the tanks because obviously there is no tank top right now for bare minimum. So I'm pretty sure the last one's still going to be focused on their top laner
To see
or
this last
jungle.
ban, if they're going to target and ban jungle, or maybe they're intending to go ahead and just pick the jungle last and counterpick with it. I'm not certain.
Let's see what they do. So definitely waiting all time. Oh, there it is, Udyr.
Here comes the Udyr ban. All right, so they do target ban the jungle.
I was prepped to watch the lobby chat in case it didn't go. This was supposed to be.
It's been happening now a little bit.
A little
Well,
bit.
they banned the Darius. Let's go ahead here and continue the top ban. Please ban the little guy that does absolutely nothing for 30 minutes but gives your team items, but they instead choose to ban Quinn, which means the top that I hate the most is still unbanned.
So who do you expect to see? Who do you expect? Oh, that's right. They left Lilia up.
Lilia coming in for the jungle pick. Top is going to be interesting here because bare minimum is going to be able to get the counter pick. They are going to pick the Vi, try to establish early pressure against the Lilia, get some early ganks here. However, at this point, now you got to make a determination: is that Poppy support or is that Poppy going to be flexed top? And it looks like they're
Oh,
going to. Ooh, they flicks to a
are you going to a
trundle.
Trundle? Are you
All
doing Trundle?
right,
They're
at
doing
the
Trundle.
last second.
All right, so this will
And
tell us where that Poppy lands.
well, the trundle could actually technically be flex top as well, but I'm not
Mhm.
necessarily certain I would blind pick a trundle top. but that's probably not, might want to do it to flex a Poppy and maybe go that route. Still thinking they're short on ranged. They're really short on range other than the Kaisa. All right, so they are going to take the Cassante and put him top and put the Poppy bot and then the Trundle mid there. Which now opens up the counterplay for bare minimum. What do they want to run top into that Cassante to round out their team? They already have the Braum there, a little bit tanky. Lily is more of a kite as well as the Oriana and the Ash. So electing to troll with the Garen rather than the Mundo into the Cassante and rounding out bare minimum's team. All right. That gets us our team selection. Predictions should be coming here momentarily.
Yep, they're coming up. Who do you think, based just solely on the draft and how that's coming out, who do you think is going to take game one?
Looking at this comp, bare minimum does not have a lot of room for error with their comp. I think Blood Moon's comp is a little bit more beefy with the Kaisa and the Hui are there for damage, so it's gonna be very hard for bare minimum. It's gonna be fully reliant on this Oriana and Lilia to try to control the battlefield, or the Garen getting a big lead. And unfortunately for him, it is a Trundle, so even if he does get a lead, the Trundle can kind of get his ult off and slow the Garen down, get a good pillar, and kill him. So I like Blood Moon's comp in this particular position. They have a lot of tools to get in and out of a fight, whereas bare minimum is hugely reliant on this Oriana and this Lilia being able to establish themselves. Plus, you have the other factor of Lilia loves to farm and try to get ahead that way. So that'll be very interesting to see what comes of that.
Okay.
What about you?
Me, I'm not very good with, hey, this draft is better than that draft. I actually am thinking game one is going to go to Clown simply because I think, based off of how I saw bare minimum picking very comfortable champions, that they're looking to more prod and see how Clown Gaming is going to play tonight. And so they're not looking to force a win in game one, but more of a tactical information gather is what I got off of the draft. I don't know if that makes sense.
Big risk in the finals, trying to play the long game, especially
I gotta say, having known Badger and how he casts and the way he talks about games and stuff, it doesn't overly surprise me that he would be able to do that and then pull out the win. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm leaning.
All right. Fair enough. I think this is going to be a 32-minute game. And I think Kaisa is going to run away with this game. I'm really concerned about how they're planning on, with the tools they have, how they're planning on getting to this Kaisa and how they're planning on disengaging from her outside of the Oriana ult and the Braum ult. How they're intending to deal with
I
it.
do know that the last patch that came in and everything, it did beef up the mages and stuff, so they're a lot stronger than they used to be. Oriana's been doing some crazy stuff in the past, few games that we've seen her in. So there's chances. There's chances.
I just don't like her ball. I mean, other than Garen, how are they doing their ball delivery? I don't know. I would have preferred maybe the Vi or something with the Oriana to ensure that you're getting the ball within the target. So we'll have to kind of see how that plays out. They're going to have to play that perfectly. But I mean, bare minimum's here for a reason. They've clawed and scratched their way through and played through some slugfest to get this far. So can't count them out. Blood Moon does have, from a position of just pure team fighting and being able to disengage and engage, more tools to work with. But hey, you still got to get out there and play the game.
You gotta do it.
All right. Well, as we get ready for here, let's go ahead and take our break, and we will see you on the Rift.
Dun, dun, dun.
Tell me what's the point if I lose myself? Spend a couple days with nobody else, holding in my breath just to see if I can find you in my dreams. Oh, I'm getting tired of losing faith in everything I see. The beauty in the stars above have lost their hold on me. 'Cause I'm a sinner, I'm not a saint, a heart of a winner. So why do I turn away? Somewhere in the deepest blue, I will find you. 'Cause I'm a sinner, and God knows I'm born this way. Looking at myself like I'm someone else. I can't feel my pulse, better get some help. God, I feel so tired, I can't keep covering up my mental health. No, I'm getting tired of losing faith in everything I see. The beauty in the stars above have lost their hold on me. 'Cause I'm a sinner, I'm not a saint, a heart of a winner. So why do I turn away? Somewhere in the deepest blue, I will find you. 'Cause I'm a sinner, and God knows I'm born this way.
In 300 feet, turn left.
With Cox's fiber-powered internet, you can do brilliant.
Why you're always trying so hard to make me surrender? Why you're always in my face? Do you really think it's over? 'Cause I've been kicked when I'm so down, too much until it's numb. And there's nobody can steal my fire. Nobody can steal my soul. Nobody can steal my soul. Nobody can steal my fire. Nobody can steal my soul. Nobody can steal my soul.
Welcome back, team. It is time to get on the riff. Game 1 of this championship series, and we're going to see Clown and Bear here go at it. I'm interested to see if they're going to try some shenanigans with the Braum straight out. It does look like they're heading bot.
They're gonna play team plays in the bush. But I think I think Clown is ready for it.
Clown is ready for this. If they want to proceed, they
Like,
have
they've
been
seen 'em. They've
spotted
already been
over the
spotted.
board. Here we go. Braum is walking in blind. Hue Poppy is going to immediately push against the wall. Toronto getting the first blood immediately. Flashes out. Braum is on the run. Team is running. Fort is almost getting clobed. The health bars are very low on both sides here. Dira going to steal a kill, but now the flash is out. Ooh, double kill going to the Ash. That is the wrong person. You want the triple kill on the Ash. That is the wrong person you want on these kills. But Kaisa getting a double kill for herself. And Hue says, no, you can't have a triple kill.
Oh, Resilience, like, I can take you. I can take you. You don't have the hit points. Don't go to that tower.
Brazilian, but my playing fire, you might want to might want to get your items there on that one. Just saying.
Yeah, relax it out a bit. It's okay. It's just the start of the game. We're barely a minute in. It's all good. It's all good.
Getting back to lane though for Ash, be able to get that first item there is gonna be a little spicy. We'll have to see how that plays out. Hue did get as well a kill there, so Ori is gonna suffer. Gonna be a little suffer. So here comes Ash to say, no, Poppy, you don't get to stay in the lane. Poppy chunked out to half there already, staying a little too close there, but you know, Poppy says, hey, I'm back.
Yep.
They might try. They are going to have the level 2 advantage. They are going to hit it first. So Poppy immediately takes the level 2. Does give the kill to Resilient. Resilient, you got to be careful. You are not level 2. Do not get in the way there. The stun coming out. Resilient is down a level, though, against the Ash. Can they get the damage? Here comes the Kaisa. Is able to get the Rampage on to the Ash.
What a crazy game we got going on.
That is insane start to this game. The pace is there.
It's been insane, and we're 2 minutes and 49 seconds in. I love it. I love it. All right, so you good to go?
I'm ready.
All right, enjoy the game, guys. Absolutely. Thank you, Twitch chat. I will be in chat if you need me.
So what do we got going on?
Well, we got 4 kills on
shenanigans?
this Kaisa. We had some level 1 shenanigans. Ash able to get some kills in as well, though. But now Kaisa with 4 kills, a little bit of a CS lead, and we're gonna have to see how that kind of plays out. You know, that a shutdown on Kaisa will be looking pretty good.
Yeah.
But it is a Lilia, so we'll have to see if Lilia is gonna try to get some sort of gank off.
Well, I really like Bear's team on the red side. I don't know how much you talked about drafts beforehand, but the Lilia into triple melees combined with the Ash, which looks like it's going to be an on-hit build, probably opting into the Bork. It'll be really hard to lock these champs down as you see just how much slow comes through.
Oh, it is landing, and Lilia is getting caught out. The flash is going to be able to save her, though they are still chasing. Kaisa dove right in. Now the Braum is going to fix him to die. Trundle's going to back away, take a little bit of damage to make sure this thing can get away, but he doesn't want to take too much damage. The Ash is scary. Ooh. Poppy going back in, but he misses. There is going to be a double kill on that one. Oh, maybe not. Resilient says, shut your pie hole. And
It's Resilient 6-0 right now.
Kill. Kaisa with a 6-0 kill. We are a minute 420 of this game, folks. Woo.
Yeah, this is definitely a volatile game, which is actually pretty insane. If you look at Cloud's track record in these games, they're very clean and like macro 4, because as we see Scenaris taken out by Wookiee Monster, the QW. What a snipe.
Hue coming in for the snipe. Resilient able to push all those into the tower, and now Ash is going to have to try to hurry back, try to get some of the CS from all that fighting. Gonna lose about half of it. It'll be alright. She'll be alright. She'll be alright.
But going back to what I was talking about with Clown Gaming Blood Moon, they're typically slow tempoed games. They're very in control, very macro oriented. So to see this kind of like volatility coming out, this game 1 is pretty exciting to set up, you know, the tone for the series. If this is the kind of action we're gonna get all 5 games potentially, I'm here for it.
Yeah, back to kind of catching up where we're at talking about the draft. My question really was, what is the Oriana and Lilia combo? Your ball delivery is suspect. How are you going to get to this Kaisa with everything that she's got outside of a good Braum ult or her extending in the Ash? So that's
Yeah.
been kind of how do you get to this Kaisa? How are you going to control her? And she's already got 6 kills,
Yeah.
which is terrifying.
No, definitely. This Kaisa is definitely in control of the game right now, as we see Wookie spotting out Scenaris and Badger.
Wookie just saying hi. She saw Lilia coming down.
So what Red Side has to do, what Bear has to do, is get to the objectives first and have these short range carries, minus the way, walk into them, right? Way's going to be the only person that can really lay down that poke until Kaisa gets that W evolve. And so if you're able to position yourself to where you get the advantage, you get the tempo advantage, you get the position advantage, it's really hard for these melees, this K'Sante, this Trundle, this Poppy, to walk into like an Ashe, into a Braum, into a Lilia, especially with the Oriana kind of threatening the ultimate. But it'll be interesting to see if they're able to pull that off. Bound's gonna be sorted out, so
here we go. Bound coming down to
here.
say hi. Maybe trying to establish the push so they can do first dragon. It does look like that seems to be the case.
And if you're Bear, if you're the side of Bear, I think you're okay given this first Drake.
I would trade this. I'd be okay trading this first Drake.
Especially just the way the Kai'Sa's been, just kind of fed early. You really don't want to
really
threaten
don't.
that. Yeah, and so getting the 3 grubs in trade is totally fine. Especially, this Garen he's 30 CS down, but as the game goes on, should be able to put some pressure into the K'Sante. So we'll have to see if that actually ends up being the case. But a trade early, especially with the way bot lane's been going, is
hold on. Lilia might be in trouble. Here comes the way. Is gonna land at least the first part of the combo, but Kaisa was K'Sante was not able to get there in time to capitalize on it. So that could have been spicy. That would have been costly, but Lilia able to get out there a little bit late on that rotation.
Looking at the game state right now, like, yes, it's a about 2K gold lead, but the majority of that is the CS difference between K'Sante and Garen, and then the kills on Kaisa, right? Outside of those, like, 2 carry potential champions, it's pretty close game, and it's not over, right? One team fight doesn't really change the outcome of this game one. It's going to be up to Resilient and T1 Jace to definitely play with those leads, though, as we see Badger going on Wookie very aggressively.
Ultimate comes out from Wookie, able to get a flash out of that. Got the ultimate trade there, but flashes away, able to remain safe.
Yeah, and we're talking about the leads for blue
sneaking
side.
over here. Are we going to see Kaisa ultimate into this Ori and snipe a kill? Does look like here comes the teleport. TP's coming in. Kaisa waiting in the wings. Ori, not certain saw if it was coming through, but here comes Kaisa coming in. She's going to collect that kill. The pillar from a bound there coming down to make sure the Ori did not get away.
Yeah, unfortunately, not knowing that the Kaisa was there, if it was just the 2, Badger would have been fine. Should have probably blown the flash a little bit sooner. It is what it is. I was just talking about, this 20 CS lead that he's been able to gather for himself in the mid lane. As we see lots of fighting.
Now we coming out Resilient. Now the pillar coming back out. The Poppy was not able to secure a good locking down on Dag. Locked way too early, but now Dag is kiting away. The double kill coming out from the Ori. Wookie taking a lot of damage. Lilia might be able to collect a kill. She does flash at the last second, and we didn't get to see Resilient finish off the kill because it took us to top. Oh, so sad about that.
It's alright. We all know that. Oh, Jace probably.
The whoopsie there from Jace there, costly. Garen able to get that kill back. I don't know how Dog Davis lived in that fight. Poppy walked away trying to give the kill over to Resilient. Did not see the rest of the combo coming out from Braum there and Lilia, and probably should have just elected to finish off that kill. So a whoopsie there did cost him a little bit, but Poppy coming in on the side. What are you doing over here? Getting creative?
Okay, So talking about that fight bot side, you know, Davis was able to stay alive for so long as we probably go in. Potentially Abound is here.
Here comes the Trundle. Here comes the Bound. There goes the dive. Now the pillar comes out. Now the kill secured on Dog Davis. Now Resilient here is saying thank you very much for holding on, and the Poppy gets to live. So 9 kills on a Kaisa. Now you're talking problems here. You need to be careful with these fights because that much kill, that much money there. Ooh, here comes again Badger able to land the ultimate, but now Wei returns fire, and now they're just going to get the trade.
Going back to that bot lane fight, though, I don't know if you saw, but Davis actually flashed the thumbs up like he knew he was going to live, and then he did. And so just a little bit of a mental edge there. But, I mean, this game is crazy. It's only about 1,000 gold, or I guess back up to 2K. 1,500, we'll call it. And, dude, I've liked what I've seen so far. I mean, these teams are really just going at it. They're saying, we don't care about the gold leads. We don't care about item differences. We don't care about level, you know, leads. We're gonna fight, and we're gonna fight often.
But the problem that I said earlier is existing. How do you get to the Kaisa and get this Kaisa out of the fight? That to me has been the biggest difference. That Kaisa, for the most part, has been relatively safe, except for almost dying to that Lilia. Hui is going to get himself caught out by the stun, and Braum ultimate, Ashe ultimate, and yeah, that's gonna end the life there of Hui, which now means here we got the rotation coming down. They did secure the Void Grubs during that time frame, so we're still gonna have maybe a contest on this dragon here coming up, and it is a pretty scary Kaisa.
Yeah, with the Ashe ultimate down, that's definitely a tool that you could use to try to catch out Resilient. With it being down, I expect
I think they have to give it up.
You have to give it up. As we see Poppy actually just flying in, trying to look for a pick. Poppy has to be careful.
He does push out Ashe, and here comes the pillar. Here comes the Kaisa saying, thank you very much. But Braum is beefy. Braum is tanky. Abound going to be in trouble here. He needs to watch out. Poppy whiffed the ultimate, too. Not able to knock the ultimate. And Ori did rotate back down. So now we have a situation where they're recalling. And Bear can secure Dragon. So interesting exchange there for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you had all the tempo on the Dragon instead of trying to catch out the Ashe and the Braum. We just saw how hard it is to do that, right? The kiting, the CC between those two champions is just immense, and so actually gives up the Dragon timer, which you could have been up 2-0 there.
Here comes Lilia from the side there, does get the fear out. Now Wei needs to roll out. Wei had actually done a really good job of poking out Badger and putting Badger in a bad spot, but Lilia does roam down and is able to kind of secure that, but doesn't get anything off of it. Meanwhile, down bot, getting more plates off. Interesting that Ashe is been able to sustain CS with the Kaisa, so they're about even there. Ooh. So it's really just a kill difference. A little bit of a whiff there.
But I don't think.
Yeah, I think not going to save the tower, and Poppy's still here, so they need to be careful. Here comes the pillar, the flash out immediately. Braum is going to counter. Now the TP's coming in, but Resilient is just pumping damage. Now here comes the Ori. Badger is chasing, does manage to get the slow and the ultimate down, finally with the shutdown. Poppy is running for his life, but is not going to get away. And Hui, interestingly, just never really decided to come down and try to do anything. Just stayed there and farmed mid.
Yeah, and I mean, it was the TP difference, right? Badger having the TP available, Wookiee Monster just getting his now off of cooldown, and so a little bit of overextension to get the tower, and then biting off more than you shoot, taking that fight. I mean, the Trundle pillar was good, and I thought it would lead to some kills, but the response from Bear was so good that actually able to find Resilient, you know, pretty massive shutdown into the pocket of the Orianna.
Into the Orianna, which is good, but Kaisa now with a second item does now have the 2 item completed. Garen, meanwhile, is fighting Jace. Jace is forced to flash here, but Garen is saying, I'm not done with you yet. Get back here, boy. Is going to land the ultimate, is going to take out the Jace. And Poppy, meanwhile, is over here, but I don't know if they're going to want like the end of this fight here if they stay in that corner. So they do manage to back off here at the last second and say, no, we don't want this fight. Poppy's here. Ashe is here. Are we going to see the Ashe ultimate? Poppy again missing the ultimate and is in trouble here. Ooh, slick move there from the side, able to get away for a second, but now here comes Garen. Here comes Bound. Bound is forced to run. Garen gonna collect another kill. Bound is still on the run. Bound fixing to get caught out, so a little bit of a misstep there is gonna cost them both kills, and now going to also cost them the rift here.
I'm gonna direct your eyes to the gold now. Only about 500 separating these two teams. It should go even lower with Reptile going to be secured. As you see TP coming out from the Cassante into the top side. Gonna force Dog Davies off.
Teed into the Ash with the Resilient a little bit caught out here. It is going to be Braum. Braum is ulting here and choosing to ultimate, but now is in trouble. Hui here as well is going to start laying in, but doesn't commit fully. Poppy's here, but not certain he's going to get much. Badger doesn't have any. Wade does manage to collect one kill. Badger is able to get out with no mana there, but interesting that he backed when they were out of mana instead of continuing forward. So maybe from the other plays he decided, nah, let's not do this.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see a little bit more tempered aggression. You know, still being aggressive from the side of Clown, but maybe not over aggressive, right? That's the goal. Because, you know, we talk about feeling the momentum in game, and they might feel like they're ahead, but they definitely felt like they've thrown a little bit. So maybe look for them to play a little bit smarter than they have been up till this point.
Yeah, the gold difference definitely is, you know, kind of still on that 2K mark. They've been able to do that, but these fights have been fast and furious. They did give up a lot there to the Ori, so they need to be careful of it. And again, you still have pretty good Ashe to Kaisa on the CS, but now we do have a Garen. Pillar is going to come out. Looks like the ultimate is out. Trundle is going to land, but here comes Garrett. Resilient is going to ult though and take and claim that. So.
Phase Rush is
another kill going over to the Kaisa, who is 10-1. Pretty crazy. All right, here comes the Rift Herald here. Shelly going to say hi to the tower and at least get one here. Surprised they didn't rotate the mid. They over to try to secure a second kill. Looks like might be a little bit late to the rotation. Shelly is going to land though.
As long as Lilia doesn't get stuck.
Ooh, the ultimate coming down, the drowsy time, and Jace is going to go down here. So they did do the rotation, and Jace did not respect it, and the rest of blue team, the Clown did not. I think they were trying to set up a pick there. They weren't expecting. Here comes Poppy though. Poppy going to try to have to not walk into the 4 there. They're chunking the tower out, and Clown with a little bit of a weird play here. They didn't defend this tower. Poppy forced to flash away. They're not respecting that. Here comes Wookiee finally over, but now Trundle's trying to sneak in, but Garen spots it out. And Bound is going to be in trouble. That's going to be a dead troll here very shortly.
Oh my goodness.
What? And here comes the Ashe Arrow, but it isn't needed. Not certain of Clown Gaming's decision here in this sequence of events.
So Clown basically spread the resources so thin that they weren't able to do any of what they were trying to do, right? They saw the cross map coming out from bare minimum, and so they wanted to respond. Cassante trying to force Lilia under tower, unable to do so, actually gets caught out because the rest of the team that was in mid goes top, right? So everybody that was on the dragon responded mid, kept responding top, and Abound, he is a Trundle and he does do damage to objectives, but he doesn't do that much to the Mountain Drake, right? And so Garen with the heads up play to be like, hey, I think the Trundle's still on this dragon. It was only about half health and it was an easy kill for 420 to pick up. And so trying to respond to those plays ended up meaning they lost across the board instead of securing the objective that was readily available to them.
Lost all objectives.
Yeah.
Gold lead now the same, and interestingly enough, and I know this has been a topic at least from my side for over a year and a half with a lot of other folks, is I'm of the opinion you don't finish the Hydra as the first option on the Trundle, and you take some sort of sustained building into the BOTK, so you have some better regen. Ultimately, he took the Hydra, did not go rush the BOTK, and just finished the first part of the
Baron
Hydra.
started up.
But now we got a little sneaky play
Bare
here.
minimum has no idea.
They don't see any of it because they had put all those resources into the dragon, and Garen was busy farming.
So low.
There, yeah, this is the part of why you take and get the Blade of the Rune King on there, but able to get the damage out, able to finally complete it. They spotted it afterwards, but now are they going to be able to come out on the side here and try to stop the back? That's what they really want to do. Garen going in blind, but barely misses. The ultimate there did hit, but Kaisa immediately cleansed to get out of it. So Ash Arrow did land, but cleanse is going to be used in response there. So very, very close from being able to make them pay, but unfortunately they hit the one target that could cleanse it.
Part of my exclamation there. Abound had flashed, and so the arrow hit Resilient. I'm like, oh no, Abound is leaving his ADC. That's 10-1 out to dry. I forgot they had cleanse. It was all calculated, but I was like, oh my gosh, like he's actually killed, but it didn't end up coming to pass. And so I like the response from Bare Minimum. I mean, they got caught with their pants down, right? They didn't know the Baron was being taken, so they ended up trading the mid-tier 1 tower, and so now it's going to be up to Clown to really make use of this Baron buff, right? I want to see them adequately use these powered up minions to take some of these towers and really open up the rest of the map for themselves.
So I like what Garen's doing here. I was wondering if they were going to do the 4-1 and have Cassante on the side because his teleport was up, and do a 4-1. Garen was waiting on the side just in case Cassante didn't respect and push, but wisely Cassante really didn't push. But now elected he is with the waves in here, so we have to go see if they're gonna try to play this out, and he's gonna go for the 1-on-1. So just trading for the moment. Not really getting much. The benefit of the Orianna, though, with the Lilia, is they do have some wave clear there. So unless they're escorting these up fully, I would expect the wave clear to be out there. Might not get the damage they're wanting, but you do see Poppy here on the side. We do see the waves cleared out pretty quickly, so not getting much accomplished there. Meanwhile, here comes the 1-on-1, but Jace going to take a tower shot, pushing in into the Garen.
Oh, the Jolt comes out, Drowsy. In the mid lane.
In the mid lane, it did look like a hit on 2. Jace is taking the fight. Here comes Poppy with the stun on Ashe, but he is going to be able to get killed in response there. Meanwhile, Jace is able to take care of business, and now Abound and Resilient are on the run. They are going to be in trouble here in a second. Abound is going to give his life to make sure that Resilient stays safe, but you know, I was saying, how do you get to the Kaisa? Well, I guess it doesn't matter if you kill the rest of the team.
Yeah. Talking about using this Baron buff effectively.
Yeah, that went out the window.
It went out for the window pretty quick, and we saw kind of like the limitations of this comp, right? It's really not that short or long range, and so the siege just really wasn't there. The Lilia taking matters into their own hands. Daenerys with a great 2-man ultimate forces out the Poppy ult, but then there's no more peel for the rest of the carries. As we see Nighthawk actually, be careful here. Resilient flashing on a Dog Davis.
That could have been bad. Able to pull back. I'm not certain that they want to do this. Poppy is going to go in, and immediately the response is, okay, we'll go ahead and claim your life.
Oh my goodness.
Magic gets the rampage, and now we have a free dragon, pretty much.
If they get this Drake, I'm gonna say if, I'm not gonna, you know, cast or curse anybody here, but if they get this Drake, they'll be about 2k gold the opposite way. That 2k that had been, great.
Ash Arrow comes out, lands on Abound, but now Resilient is gonna have to wait on this fight. It is started. Here comes Jace getting into the middle of the fight. Hui on the side, but Hui can't get to the right target. Lilia is just going to town and mopping up with this Garen, is able to get the kill, and now they're picking to just march down center here. Kaisa and Hui not able to get into the fight. So yeah, like you were saying with the range, it is creating a problem, and I'm wondering if they're gonna have to ditch the 4-1 approach and just try to go a full 5-man down the lane, because 4-1's not working.
Yeah, and Bare Minimum has to be careful here, because I'm sure they have a ton of gold in their pockets, right? It is the mid.
They have not bought
into like 2 towers, into Drake, into another 1 fight, and so they got to be sitting on so much that they, you know, Cloud Gaming sensing this, but it's so hard for them to actually get on these carries.
Rom is doing so much work here. Ash is getting very juicy there. Kaisa is going to go in and take the kill, but immediately responds and stunned up. But he's able to get away at the last second and does get the kill. But the class of his cleanse and the ult there being used. But I guess you take that trade when your Ash is dead.
Yeah, the Ash is gonna be down for a little bit. 23 seconds on the death timer right now, but that's a sunless and ultless Kaisa that was doing so much early game, right? 11 and 1.
Here comes a side that is going to land. Hui's coming in. The stun is out. Lilia is down. So Clown in response is able to secure some kills. And now you have at least a little bit of a revenge there. Can you do something with it? Can you get a tower? Can you get some deep ward vision in here for this upcoming Baron? Are you going to try to get another pick? Does look like they're going to go ahead and just reset and start setting up at least temporarily there, get some vision around the Baron. That is the next objective that's going to be up. But, Gold is right. They do have the lead. Bare Minimum has been fighting. Garen is 6-1 against poor Cassante over there at 0-6. So,
yeah, and Cassante on the new patch is clunky. I don't know if you've been able to play him yet, but they've basically changed his whole kit. Like, he kind of works the same, but he really doesn't anymore. And so it looks like the Garen matchup is even less favorable for him now. But going on, the back of those picks, right? The difference between what Bare Minimum was able to do and what Con Gaming was able to do is when Bear got these 1 fights, they immediately turned it into towers, do objectives. Clown was able to, punish the overextension, but there was nothing left on the map for them. And so now we're going to see pretty much even gold across the board for this Baron fight. And it'll be really interesting to see who comes out on top, because so far it's been Bare Minimum when these team fights break out.
Yeah, I don't want to see a 4-1 anymore. They need to get into a 5v5. That's really cost them in most of these fights. It's either A, somebody's been caught out immediately. They haven't really had a true 5v5 yet. So I kind of want to see what's going to happen. Obviously, you do need to avoid the clump for the Lilia Ori combo. And so they need to be careful of that. And they don't want to go to Sleepy and then get balled. But if they can buy Kaisa enough time, again, Kaisa's 3 items are completed. 4th is nearly there. And that's a problem.
Bare Minimum has to be careful with how they approach this, because Garen opted to not take TP, right? And so he's on the side. Cassante has TP available. So if Bare Minimum decides to take this Baron, it's going to be late. Or Garen's going to be late to that objective. And so I wonder if they're just trying to suss out a pick or a 1 skirmish here.
I could see them going for the pick right now with the Ash ult. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Even if they donate the Ash ult to the Garen fight to get the Cassante off the board, and then you've got a good situation for Garen to be coming into the Baron. But it does look like they're being a little bit more patient. They do have some vision down there.
Up, right? It's coming up in 50 seconds, and so now it's going to put these teams into like an awkward spot. Do we give up the Baron for potential soul? Do we let them get soul for this Baron, as we see they're going to clear out some vision and threaten it?
I think they threaten. It looks like they're going to go ahead and get started. They are rotating. You do see the Karen back. But interesting enough, the Garen is going to get to this fight, and the Cassante is not going to be there. He's going to have to teleport in. But nope, looks like they gave it. I'm with you. If I'm, in Bare Minimum shoes, like you just saw what they did with Baron. So I would 100% risk trading the Baron for this soul, because that they can't really push well. You've already seen what they did with the first Baron. So they're kind of showing their hand here. They're already in the pit. They're already ready to fight for this dragon. And now if Clown wants to intercept it, they're going to have to push in. So Ash Arrow does come out. Ash Arrow does miss. Pillar is the only thing burned in the response, but it does mean Dragon is being started. They are going to go ahead and start this. Cassante was able to get in early and get a little bit of damage there, but does back out. The team is coming. The Kaisa ult is already out there. Garen is just going to soak some damage to say hi, but now they're pushing. But Pillar was already used, so they can't use it. Hui is not able to land good enough to combo to slow him down and get out, so just back away.
Yeah, They still have to be careful fighting in this choke. The Oriana ultimate is...
Here comes Poppy from the side, though. Can Poppy get anything off the back there? They are starting Dragon from behind. Jace is trying to soak damage. Here it comes. Jace is pushing through, but gets deleted. But here comes the response. Ori does not get a good combo, but Lily does manage to sleep them long enough, and now Lily is able to land to Resilient. Is going to have to go golden, but is going to die. Hwei not able to get enough damage on Ashe. Ashe triple kill is going into place. Braum says, I can just go ahead and tank you for a bit, and there goes the ace. Now they're not even going to Dragon.
Game 1.
They're going mid. They're
Yeah,
pushing
that
mid.
should be game.
That might
they
be
have
game.
a wave for them. They're
Yeah.
gonna think this inhibitor. You know, the Poppy will be up, and then you know it's gonna be Cassante a little bit after. But I think they should have enough damage to melt these towers and end. And you know, it was interesting when we saw Clown Gaming start up that Baron. It felt like they were doing no damage, and then the same thing kind of happened at the team fight. There was no damage, and that's game 1, just like that.
That is game 1. Bare minimum taking it to Clown. Clown hit a huge lead on the Kaisa, but just, you're right, the range came back to haunt them. They were not able to get enough damage on there. The way having to step in was hurtful. And you, sir, are looking very dapper today.
Oh yes, you as well. Thank you. Gotta get dressed up for these finals, right? But yeah, like I didn't see draft. Obviously, I was a little bit late to the party. But there was two clear things that Clown Gaming was lacking. One was damage, right? They didn't have enough damage for the objectives that they wanted to start early. And then the second one was that range, right? We talked about how it was going to be really hard for them to approach these team fights, and when push came to shove, those are the two things that kind of did them in. The other thing I want to talk about is, you know, we've seen Clown Gaming. They've been just on a tear basically the whole year, right? The #1 seed for a reason. They really like to approach the macro game, and they don't really get sucked up into these skirmishes. And so the way that this game 1 started is so unlike them. And I think it just set the tone for the rest of the game that, like, yeah, bare minimum. We know that we're probably down gold, but we're not down gold enough for you to win these team fights consistently. And they really took it to them and ended up with the win, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
I'm very surprised. I announced some points there. I'm gonna have to eat my words on there. I did say the Ori and Lily, the combo was gonna be interesting. I was right. They couldn't get to the Kaisa, but in the end, it didn't matter because they just deleted the rest of the team, and no one else could get damage in there. I didn't pull up the numbers. I wanted to see the damage numbers because I was very interested to see the disparity, but unfortunately, I did not.
Yeah,
I'll have to pull it up here and take a look.
The one thing is, right, this game 1 was very volatile. There was no consistent gold lead until the very end of the game, right? And so if you're Clown Gaming, you kind of just shake it off and say, hey, it's best of 5, right? That's only game 1. We can give a game. We'll just come out and win the next 3, right? But if you're bare minimum, you want to take this win. You want to run with the momentum. You know, don't let up. Don't take your foot off the gas and continue to do what went well, so well this game 1. It'll be interesting to see how these two teams kind of respond and regroup and decide how they want to approach this game 2.
They are lining up here to get ready. So to recap the draft for you, because I thought it was interesting, they picked the Poppy early, and I was pretty certain that was a flex pick for them because it was picked second. So I was kind of wondering if they were going to flex it top based off of matchups. And then when I saw the Trundle and the Cassante had pretty much confirmed the Poppy, so I think they might have been trying to hide that and put the Poppy elsewhere, and then just opted to flex a bot based off matchups. But yeah, I mean they kind of gave us, you know, a little bit of, we're going to keep team fighting, and we're going to start winning these fights, and just there was a couple of missteps from Clown early that just kind of cost them. I really think if they hadn't tried to dive that second tower and instead just pushed for that dragon when all the ultimates were down because they used them on the Hwei, plus the Jace crazily going into the tower up top, into the Garen and taking 4 tower shots while fighting the Garen, was a little bit of a crazy misstep there. But yeah, I think Clown is gonna go back to more their traditional style and play their macro, play their game, and maybe not be taking the slugfest.
Yeah.
And I would expect to see some draft changes too.
I want to see T1 Jace on more of a stereotypical carry, right? Because he did get a, a pretty good gold lead in that first game, right? The CS lead that he had. Yeah, he did have that misstep. I think he was trying to ult the Garen through the wall. Instead ults him under his own tower, and so that's kind of all she wrote. But I'd like to see him on more of a standard, carry from the top lane. Didn't look too comfortable on that Cassante. As we draft. That would be my one change for CG Blood Moon. But for bare minimum, you're coming off a game 1 win, and everybody looked pretty good. They understood their roles and they executed them, and so just keep it up if you're on the winning side.
So again, a Viego ban, Abound, the respective Abound here, not allowing the Viego to come out. Seraphim ban was stay ban. Talia was the first ban last time, so these bans are kind of lining up the way that they were before. There was also an Ivern ban in there as well. As curiously enough, they actually banned the Syndra, respecting the play there from the Syndra, but then picked the Hui and the Oriana matchup, or the Oriana in the Hui matchup. Lissandra was the other band, so that band is staying there. So bands kind of staying where they were at. We'll have to see if the Talia and the Ivern bands are going to remain the same. But and then the Darius was the last band there. So Talia band coming out, staying out. So still respecting the same bands that we saw last time.
Yeah, and if you don't really have a good response to the Ivern, it's definitely easy to ban away. I think enchanting items, I won't say enchanters, but enchanting items are really strong post the split change. Lots of gold efficiencies got skewed, and so I think they're the most efficient gold items right now on the patch, and so definitely a good ban, as we see the Poppy actually going to be the change from bare minimum.
All right, so banning out the Poppy. I was just glad not to see an Ivern. That made me happy not to see an Ivern for once. I'm tired of seeing Ivern top. But we will see the Kaisa being banned out by Blood Moon. They're not going to let bare minimum play it. And immediately with that, signaling that the Syndra is going to be come out, and Blood Moon saying, okay, you take the Syndra. We're going to play Protect the Kog'Maw.
Yeah, and if you're listening to like the world's chatter and the world's news, it's mixed reviews on how strong this pick is in the Syndra. I think she's really good with some of the mage item changes, but she kind of lacks in that range department we were talking about, right? And so if she's able to get ahead or scale up efficiently and just hit R on these squishy carries, she'll be a good pick. It's going to be up to Cloud Gaming Blood Moon to kind of counteract that with that early pick, as using Kog'Maw, Tom Kench locked in. Expecting it to be good support, but I guess it could be a flex.
I would expect to, especially if you're doing the Protect the Kog'Maw. I would expect a Tom Kench, but it can be played on the top as well. The Syndra kind of opens up the door though of how you want to respond to the Syndra, right? Do you want to go ahead and try to play, the AP mage into it, knowing that the Syndra usually is going to outrange most other of the casters and kind of make them suffer for it? Or are you going to go ahead and say, okay, fine, you want to play the Syndra? Great, we're going to play the Talon, we're going to play the Zed, we're going to play something that plays into it and can eliminate it and delete it before she has the opportunity to do an R. So I have to see how spicy they are on that pick. The Ashe coming back out. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Thinking that it's not broken.
That's right.
Don't fix it, right? And so, pretty strong on the patch with the on hit with the board, because you Blitzcrank going to be the quintessential Tom Kench counter, but the Galio hover and locked. You don't want to pull the Galio, right? You can pull anybody on this team except for the Galio. So it'll be interesting to see how these team fights or these pick potential plays from Blitzcrank end up going.
I'm wondering if they picked the Galio because they immediately saw the blitz and were like, okay, fine, you want to play this game. I do like the fact that they're trying to say, okay, you want to play Protect the Kog'Maw. Let's get something where we can pick it out of play. So the blitz is a really good pickup for that. But seeing that Galio, okay, great. Now you get more man beef in the way.
Yeah.
But the matchup for Syndra, Galio is going to suffer early if it's playing mid.
Yeah, and bare minimum doing the smart thing to ban away some of these priority junglers from Abound. Abound being really good jungler so far in LXC in this iteration of the league, and we see the Ivern could be banned away. So if you're bare minimum, you feel pretty good because the Iron it seems like it's gonna be a pick that is gonna have to be banned away. And the longer this series goes, the more shakeups happen. Um, having a pick that they can't play or play around is going to be advantageous as we see Camille going to be the final ban and the
All
Lilia
right.
hover.
And now saying, hey, fine, we'll take the Lilia this time if you want to play that route. And Lilia works really good into this combo as well. So good adaptation there. I was almost thinking maybe they play the Vi to be able to get on top of the Syndra and the Ash, but I like to see that Lilia coming out. But now knowing that the Lily is there, do you want to play counter pick into it and punish the Lilia early, knowing that the Lilia likes to farm, or are you gonna not elect to punish the Lilia and instead?
Okay.
Interesting. Are we fixing to see Brand Jungle coming
And it
back?
has to be, right? I really
Right.
doubt that it's going to be a brand top. Um, it matches the clear of Lilia, the Lilia speed, clear speed pretty well. What's interesting is CG Blood Moon. We just talked about how the previous comp lacked range, and I'm looking at it, and it's just Kog'Maw again, right? It's 3 melees plus the carry. As we see, Aatrox, hovered, and locked could round out bare minimum's comp. And so, if you're CG Blood Moon, you got to walk into a Syndra and an Ashe yet again. And now, granted, if they get on top of them, they're going to die, right? The Galio, the Tom Kench, the Lilia. But it's going to be the act of actually getting there.
See, I saw that Mordekaiser, and I was wondering if we were fixing to see a cast top because that would have kind of gone around with okay, now let's go ahead and play a little bit more on there, but instead opting back to the Cassante into the Aatrox,
Asante.
which does Cassante win that matchup with the changes? I don't know. I haven't really played around since the changes there, but I don't know if Cassante wins that matchup against
Um,
Aatrox.
he could definitely abuse the Aatrox post 6, right? So basically, if anybody's unfamiliar with like what changed with Cassante, they basically made him a little bit more squishy. His skill shots are harder to hit, but when you do hit them, they hit harder. And then now when he ults, he gets 20% Omnivamp, right? And so if you're able to pilot this champion well, there is going to be a payoff, right? Um, but when I was watching CG Bloodmoon play in that game one, it felt like we were playing old Cassante. We were trying to take these trades or these engages, like, oh yeah, I'm this huge tank, and then he just exploded, right?
It got deleted.
And so it'll you're gonna have to adjust to this new Cassante meta, so to speak. And so it'll be interesting to see if T1 Jace is able to do so. Now, if anybody is able to do so, I think it's him. But game one didn't really give me that confidence. And so you're looking at CG Blood Moon, and it's the two things from game one cross over to game two. They're lacking range. It's 4 melees plus a Kog'Maw, and they're lacking damage, right? Yes, Galio could build AP, but it's really just Lilia and Kog'Maw. And so if these carries don't get going, and if they're not able to scale into the mid late, I don't see how they're gonna win this game with how game one looked, right? It's kind of a copy paste. Like, this is how we're gonna play. Maybe we just played it wrong game one. It's just interesting to me.
It is interesting. Predictions are live, by the way, so go ahead and make your predictions. I ate my words and lost some points in the process, so I'm gonna have to get my points back here. So it is interesting, but outside of the kind of okay, we have the Syndra disengage, right? We have the ultimate, we have the Ash ultimate there. There is a lot of beef on that side, and you really are just again on the other side. You have the Syndra for damage, you have the Ash for damage, but Blitz ain't producing no damage, and if he doesn't land on the correct target, and really in this case with the way they're running their comp, he's his one target's Dogma. So kind of negates Blitz altogether, really, because you don't want to pull anybody else. Brand, he's gonna get his damage. Like it's just
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's a brand. It's he's getting damage out all over the place. But I'm kind of scared that if this team just wants to build straight AP early, The Ash and the Aatrox is going to have to do the bulk of the damage with the Ash and just negate the Syndra and Brand damage. You know, Blitz isn't doing anything for you.
All right. Well, while Chipsa goes on in client, I'm going to ask you, who do you add this game to?
I don't see Clown misstepping 2 games in a row. They are too well coached. They're too well manned. Their macro is extreme. They're a reason that they're number one. I'm expecting this protected Kog'Maw, especially the way how Resilient played match one with the Kaisa. I'm expecting this Kog'Maw to win them this game.
I hear everything you're saying, but I'm a big believer in momentum in a series. And the way the game one went, the fact that CG Blood Moon got a lead and then it slipped away, I think Bare Minimum has all the tools and kind of a repeat of game one and how they can approach the game. I think Bare Minimum is actually take a 2-0 lead, but we will have to see as we take a little break, and we will see you right back on the Rift.
Shaking the room from the back to the center, making you move to the track you surrender. Body scrunching your face closed up, cause the bass goes boom as we enter. Body scrunching your face closed up, cause the bass goes boom. Shaking the room from the back to the center, making you move to the track you surrender. Shaking the room from the back to the center. Body scrunching your face closed up, cause the bass goes boom. Shaking the room from the back to the center, making you move to the track you surrender. Shaking the room from the back to the center. Body scrunching your face closed up, cause the bass goes boom as we enter. Shaking the room from the back to the center, making you move to the track you surrender. Body scrunching your face closed up, cause the bass goes boom as we enter. Shaking the room from the back to the center, making you move to the track you surrender. Body scrunching your face closed up, cause the bass goes boom. Scrunching your face closed up, cause the bass goes. Scrunching your face closed up, cause the bass goes boom as we enter. Shaking the room from the back to the center, making you move to the track you surrender. Body scrunching your face closed up, cause the bass goes boom as we enter. Shaking the room from the back to the center, making you move to the track you surrender. Body scrunching your face closed up, cause the bass goes boom.
I'll never mistake the way you give me my faith. My body feels safe in your hands. Feel me fully face. I'm light as a fire that I'm letting you escape. The stars still remember they fall to our fate. I don't wanna wait. Every single part of me in flames.
Sell to your customers anywhere.
Hello guys, welcome back to the LXC. It is game 2 of this championship and it is a blitz. You're obligated to invade, right?
Yeah, and I like how they're invading topside. Everybody expects bot, right? If you've been playing League, you know blitz invades bot. But now it's going to be sussed out. Oh, they're not bot. They're probably in this red side jungle. It'll be interesting to see if T1 Jace base checks this.
I mean, I would expect Cassante to walk right into this and get obliterated if they don't see, but his team, they did. They kind of knew what was coming. They did sniff this out.
I was worried they were going to put down a ward. I'm like, why do we invade? But no, they put down the ward. They see everybody responding to their potential invade. And so, you know, when all is said and done, nothing happens.
Nothing happens, but the key thing is here, they're going to know Abound is actually starting grid.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to have the information game on lock, right? It's going to be matching clears between Cineris and Abound. I think it's Cineris. I don't know actually how to say his name. But
would be Cineris, maybe? Or Cineris?
I have no idea. But we were debating a little bit about how this game might unfold. We noted Resilient actually has opted into PTA instead of lethal tempo. I feel like with Kog'Maw and Lilia being the two like damage dealers of this comp,
here comes the pull right away. Immediately is able to get out. Resilient is taking a ton of damage here. It is going to die here ultimately. First blood over. Shield is out. Flash is out, and now Tom Kench is able to just hold on. Kog'Maw does secure the kill though, but you know, you take that trade if you're the Ashe. You got first blood.
Worth. If you're Dog Davis and Dira, as we see Jace get the level 2 advantage in topside. Not really going to be anything that happens.
Here comes Tom Kench is going to say hi, and it is a blitz, so don't get near the tower there. Almost. I will say this, though, in defense of Resilient. He did not burn his flash. Ashe did burn flash and barrier.
Yeah, he did burn the cleanse on the...
did burn the cleanse.
The ignite, which is smart. So that's going to be the only summoner down for the ADC. However, TK, both summoners down.
Jace just loves taking these tower shots. I don't know, he just likes to go in and take these tower shots.
He's playing Cassante. He's a big tank.
You know, we had this discussion. Is he really a big tank now?
I don't think he is. I've played him a couple times. I like him, but you have to change the way you approach the champion. He doesn't feel like the same champ as he did previously. As we see a good...
we see the response, we see the combo. Wookiee able to land all of it. Syndra wisely steps in instead of out, which is a mistake a lot of folks make there to present taking extra damage there. So Wookiee landing the combo, just saying hi. This is going to be continuous for poor Syndra pretty much the entire game.
You know, and I like the first strike rune choice from the Syndra. I'm really not going to have kill pressure on the Scalio, right? So I might as well just get gold for my trouble. Just smack him with Qs and autos over and over. We see some trading on the top side. Doesn't amount to much.
Do see the trading, but more importantly, we do see the escort. Looks like they're a convoy coming up to this Aatrox and say, "Hey, you want to party?" They are going to see it, but I don't know if he. It is a flash. He is going to get the flash out though. Does manage to land a combo on Wookiee, so Wookiee says hi. I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, now you're down about 2 waves in mid lane.
You lost a lot for that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not gonna get this wave. He's walking back down. He should have just back TP'd probably. So Syndra, you know, at the expense of their top laner's flash, gets a little bit of a gold lead early on in this game. Looking across the board, even at 7K, 1-to-1 in the kills, being in bot. And so far, smooth sailing. Now, it's debatable, right? Which side scales better? You know, big change from game 1 and all the kills going every which way. But it'll be interesting to see, you know, which side feels like this is advantageous for their team.
I do like, though, with how this game started out, you are going to see Brand rotating to the jungle, and there's going to be for the dragon. And really, Lily is not going to be able to contest that pre-6. So if Brand wants, he can go ahead and choose to have his bot pull pressure and immediately establish dragons. And it's going to be really harder for them to kind of respond. Wookiee says, hey, take some damage, get stunned, take a little bit of my combo. Here you go. And again, now we do see kind of they're all here ready to start this dragon. And Lily is not really going to be able to get involved here early on, and they can start taking those dragons early and still contest the good old rifties there because Aatrox is going to be able to push down pretty quick. So
beautiful wave manipulation from bot side as well. This giant wave crashing into bot side right as they're trying to approach this Drake. Bodes well. Deer's going to do some scatting on the Deer and Dira. That's not going to be confusing at all.
Deer and Dira. The stun does land, and Cassante immediately taking this to fight to Aatrox. Aatrox is in trouble here. The flash is gone ultimately, so Jay says, okay, I know you can't flash away, so I'll go ahead and flash, take the kill. Meanwhile, Wookiee is caught out by the Blitz. Dira does land the grab there and says, hang on here, buddy. And Lilia, it needs to watch out. She needs to understand that she's outnumbered in mid if they chose to rotate to, but it doesn't look like they are.
Pretty big cooldowns used, right? Cassante without the ultimate now. Obviously, be able to pick up a kill feels pretty good. If you're blue side, I think you just give, right?
I think you give. I don't think you do it now. Yeah, you lost that opportunity when you elected to try to push that way for Syndra, but is gonna go ahead here. Try some sneaky, but now Brand's in trouble.
Daenerys might die.
Brand's in trouble. Brand's
he's okay.
Brand's still in trouble. The flash from Tom Kench is coming out. Lilia is getting damage out. Lily is going to catch Brand out and get that kill. So, yeah, a little bit of a whoopsie there.
I don't know if you saw. So Brand tried to sneak it away, right? He had the smite advantage because he saw Bound use smite on one of the grubs. A Bound like panic flash. So Lilia doesn't have flash anymore, which is kind of a big tool now that they have the ultimate available to him. That the Q flash sleep that TSM still regrets not following when it's made in Worlds. But regardless, if you look at the gold lead, about 500 for Clown Gaming coming off the back of those grubs and the kill on Brand. And top lane once again going T1 Jace's way, but it's going to be up to him to pilot the champion a little bit better in this mid to late game as lanes kind of go away.
I will say though, Clown was able to rotate in Tom Kent for that objective, and Resilient did not die to a Blitz and Ashe bot solo. So they really could have tried to punish that, and they didn't. And I think it was because Blitz kind of tried to rotate late and didn't get there. But they could have punished that cog and kind of caused Clown some time there, but weren't able to punish it. So you gotta be happy with that.
Yeah. Anytime the cog can stay alive is a good time for him. It'll be interesting to see now that the level 6s, the ultimates are available, how this lane goes. Only level 5 for Tom Kent. You do have a little bit of a window to punish if you are Dog Davis Adira here. 420 tries to kite away from this Cassante.
I'm
really
wondering
like
if they're going to
top.
be scared with the Galio though. Because now Wookiees push the tower immediately, and he knows that Syndra's under tower. Galio could rotate in if they want to start fight on bot, and Badger will not be able to respond to that as quickly, especially because Badger's already missing half health. Wookiee is going to push this immediately, push it in a wave, and maybe we're going to see some fireworks down here in bot in a second.
Yeah, and with the way the wave stay is, Tom Kench has to be pretty close to 6, and then he actually just ticked over. So I'm gonna be a little bit safer for this Kog'Maw, for Resilient. I don't know if they know if Brand's in that bot lane. Ooh,
I don't.
comes
So
out.
Ash the out
Immediate
comes
clip.
out.
Oh!
Resilient does get Cog. Cog got caught again.
Burn. Does he die?
Wow, no, he
No,
lives. He
very
lives.
close.
Tom Kench saved it. So protect the Cogma and work. Jace is able to go ahead and eat 3 tower shots because, you know, why not eat them on Cassante? Dira again threading the needle, but the Tom Kench doing his job, protecting the Cogma.
Oh, Dira might actually have another pick here.
Dira needs to be careful here. He does not have a lot of mana. And if anything happens in this fight, but Brand moves up. But now we're seeing a response. So here comes poor Ash is all by himself. You need to run away. Dog Davis, you are not in a good spot. He does realize he is dead.
Yeah.
Putting this kill onto Lilia, I would imagine. Ooh,
Oh,
he tried to put the kill on there. Here comes the damage though. There it comes. Abound able to secure the kill. So a little bit of a whoopsie there because they were trying to make sure that the kill was going onto Abound there, but almost cost him.
Yeah, and
The funny part is it cost him it cost him the flash and the barrier.
Yeah, that's true. And Dog Davis probably should have known better, right? He had full vision. They had full vision of what was going on the bot side river, and so doesn't respect and ends up, you know, costing his life. But does lead to a window for Brand to eat these grubs, which you know he's so well at doing. So it's gonna be even grub trade. Gonna deny potentially a very fed Cassante, a little bit more power in their.
It will be, but I think they know immediately that it is there, so they were immediately pushing to Dragon. And I like this. I love this because they know that the flash is gone from the Ash. They know that barrier is not there as well, and they have position here. So Wookiee is going to take on Syndra and Brand. I'm not certain he was wanting both. And now here comes Dira coming in from the side. And now he's caught out, but he's going to flash. And Drake going over directly to Lilia. So Ash out is coming out. It does land. But again, it's protect the Kog'Maw.
That was a great buffer by Nighthawk being right there at the right time. If Blitz Hook came out a little bit sooner, connected a little bit sooner, it would have been a good night Kog'Maw. But you know, if there's a Drake to give, I'm always a fan of giving Chemtech Drake, as we see Wookiee potentially caught out again here. Might just be able to walk
Here
away.
comes
Great stun.
The stun comes out, but Lilia is going to get something in return here. Lilia is coming in, realizes maybe not want to fight the Syndra still.
I'm actually curious to see how Syndra's doing on the passive stacks at 60 so far. So about halfway to the 120. And doing really well, right? I mean, it's a pretty non-interactive lane for the Syndra. You're basically just picking it to farm some gold. Nighthawk has to be careful with the hook here.
Kench giving a lick, needs to not get too close to that tower with the blitz. Jace kind of waited here, get sneaky. Costa for a little bit of on that recall. Wanted to just wait it out. Lily is on this bot side, but if she does try to wait and hold for the gank, there is a ward there, so they are going to see her. They're going to try to set up this, but it looks like they're just going to push.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see. I think, you know, we talked about how Cassante, once he gets 6, it is really hard for the Aatrox to match now that, you know, the Cassante changes has gone through. How these lane assignments shake up, because I think you want the Syndra to go against the full stacking armor of Cassante. But so far, I mean, no towers have gone down to kind of facilitate that.
Wookiee waiting here on the side. They're going to collapse on push blitz immediately. If he'd have waited a second, I think Lily could have landed the combo and they could have caught out, but instead here they're just going to start on the red here, even though they have kind of pinged it out here. They know that the Ashe is on the side. A bound, you know, if you do get hit by an Ashel, you are going to get hooked and killed, but they elect not to.
The bare minimum ping started going off on the Rift Herald, but I don't think they actually have time to deny. Lily's already up here, already secured the red that they wanted, and so
Brand.
Big damage.
Damage comes out,
used.
but again, he waited for the ult and then immediately ate a bound there. So now you don't have an ult.
Yeah, but the Tahm Kench ult is down as well, right? The Syndra is looking mighty scary if you're the Lilia. As we see Dira trying their best to punish Resilient.
But again, they don't get anything. Resilient is able to avoid. It just pushes the tower. They don't land anything. They're not able to get it.
Should have froze the wave on the bounce back, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Now I get what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to shove the wave in so that they can look for the hook. As we see, Ashel actually connects on Galio.
Can they steal it? Nope, no steal. Nighthawk is taking some damage, but now he comes back into the fight. Lilia is Sleepy Time coming out, and down goes the Brand. And again, Kog'Maw staying safe, farming in tower. They're not able to capitalize there. Dog Davis is somehow at quarter health. Question mark. I would have interested to see what was going on there.
As we see,
and the hook goes on. So Resilient able to dodge everything, and now you've got them coming here to come through. Is Dog Davis going to get caught out again? We do see the Blitz intercepting though. Here comes the damage out. No, Resilient, do not walk into Blitz in the tower. But yeah, I mean, they weren't able to punish Resilient at all down bot.
No, Bounty does have a TP to respond to this dive if that's what Con Gaming wants to do.
Shelly coming out though. Dog Davis is in trouble. Dog Davis is going to get claimed by the Abound. The TP is here. They should get something off of this. Tahm Kench is going to get claimed by the Brand, and Wookiee Monster is on the run. Is going to land the stun, but I don't think Wookiee is leaving here. But now Cog is coming through. Shelly's coming through. Double kill going over to Brand. But now, again, you got just nothing really going to Ashe. He got caught out. Dog Davis does die. They do eventually get the kills on the Brand, but I don't know if I like that trade. Abound has got 4 kills. Protect the Kog'Maw is still in effect. Ashe did not really get a CS lead with all the roaming that Tahm Kench is done. It's still pretty even in CS.
Yeah. If you're the side of Con Gaming, your win condition is about.
Here comes the ultimate from Jace. Flash immediately from Fort to avoid the combo and die, but now Jace should be able to push into this tower and get this kill on Aatrox real quick if he wants. There comes Jace. He is going to push into the Fort. Fort is on the run. Aatrox is going to go down, and meanwhile, down bot, Dog Davis trying to pump damage and hurry up, but Tahm Kench is going to come behind, going to lick. Now Flash out from Dog Davis is still getting the damage, but now the Dragon is going to be taken out by Lilia, and now they need to be careful on this back end. They don't want to get murdered here. The Flash is coming through from Galio, and now Cinders is on the run, and now Ashe again is caught out. Dog Davis is in trouble. Dog is going to die again here. Dog knows it. He's taking as much time. Here comes Resilient to claim the kill on to Dog Davis, and just immediately interesting decisions from Dog and getting caught out here. I don't know if he's just not getting the love he should be, but definitely not getting much done here and getting caught out again.
Yeah, kind of smart build path we see some Dog.
Ooh, here comes the ultimate now coming out. Wookiee is going to show up and secure the kill. The Brand ult's going to do... Yeah, Brand's going to, you know, he's going to get his damage in.
420 does have the ultimate available. I was curious to see if they're going to opt into trying to take a fight there in the 3 side, but I'm expecting a Wit's End to come out from Ashe, which honestly is pretty genius.
Ooh, Dira is going to land on, but if this is a Cassante, and there is stun coming out from the Syndra, but, you know, okay. Gonna walk away. What are we at? 88 splinters on the passive for Syndra. And, yeah, again, Lilia's got pretty big lead now on Brand.
Yeah, pretty big. Yeah, if we look at the overall gold lead, right, about Kind of that 2K mark that we're so used to seeing from game 1, and so it'll be interesting to see if this is kind of like a repeat in terms of game state from game 1. It's a lot less volatile, I'll give you that, and I think Dog Davis is kind of having trouble adjusting. Was able to get a lot of gold early in that game 1. He might feel like he's playing with that gold lead still.
To me, the biggest difference though is the dragons. Like they're not.
Yeah.
They just didn't give him away this time. Jace is caught out. He's taking for a bit here, but he's still fighting here. Brand is still here, but now Tom Kench is here, and Tom Kench is, you know, hey, I can also protect this guy as well. Meanwhile, Wookie is fighting Dog Davis and Dira. The teleport is coming out, but Wookie's not going to be able to get away. I kind of wonder what happened there. I didn't get to see the full part of Kog'Maw came in. Now the stun is landing here. Now we got some problems. Lilia is putting some people to sleep. Shutdown is going to go Brand's way, though, but now they need to watch out. Ash is going to be caught out here. Down goes Resilient. Is not dead. Resilient is here, but somehow Dog is alive again. What happened?
I don't know. I don't know where the Syndra ult went. I really thought it was going to come out and just finish him off, but might have been a misclick on the Tom Kench. Ooh, good stun by Badger. Stopping the W from Tom Kench. Tom Kench is going to take a very slow walk.
Sauntering away. He chooses to come back in to lick. I think he was trying to set up Resilient on to get a little bit more damage in. I thought he would get it, but unfortunately that is not the case. Although Resilient is now saying hi.
Here should be able to W himself away. Leads to a tier 1 going down in mid. So when all is said and done, very scattered skirmishes out there, but leads to an objective secured for Clown Gaming. And right now, if you're looking just at the map state, right, all tier 1s available for Clown Gaming. You know, the lanes have gone their way. Syndra was able to scale with the first strike, get some gold, get a gold lead, a CS lead, but it's really hard to push into Galio, right? Galio's not dying. He has really good wave clear. Top is very heavily favored for T1 Jace. This counterpick Kasante looking a lot better than it did game 1. And then you talked about it, right? Tom Kench making moves around the map, and instead of opting to freeze on the Kog'Maw and deny farm, really just kind of shoved in and did nothing with that tempo, that pressure that they could have had. And so the laning phase definitely went heavily the side of Clown Gaming as compared to the game 1 volatility.
Yeah, and this is kind of where the problem now comes in, because Blitz, if he's not able to get these pulls, who are you pulling now? Can you get to the Kog'Maw anymore in these engagements? Who are you pulling? You pulling Tom Kench? You pulling Kasante? Like what? Galio? Like these are not the people you want to be pulling. So now the Blitz is kind of negated.
Tom Kench would be an okay pull. If you look at his items right now, he just has health, right? And so the Brand, the Syndra should be able to do lots of damage. You see, actually,
Dog Davis again getting caught out again, moves the wrong way, doesn't move with the team, gets claimed, and I would not be shocked. I thought maybe they would have pushed the Baron immediately because they were not going to be able to respond, but instead they're okay to just come here and get a third dragon for free.
And this is the Clown Gaming that we've all known throughout the split, right? They're taking the easy objective, right? There's always a chance that you funnel into Baron Pit, as we see
Jace just getting obliterating this Aatrox while we're talking about it. But yeah, Drake is going to be claimed. Now you have a situation where, yeah, you're right, that the macro play is coming out. Clown is now kind of going back to their standard. We're going to take short wins. We're going to take objectives. We're going to slow this down. Asha is out, but no one's there. Kind of a waste. And now you've kind of wasted a tool that you could use at Baron, and you still don't have any vision there. So I would be very careful here. If you're, again, Lily is here with the Brand. Abound could absolutely destroy that Brand if he wanted to, but chooses not to. Didn't know where anybody else was at, so wisely just says, okay, fine.
Yeah, and we're seeing a totally different Clown, right? Like game 1 was so unlike them, just taking every fight, kind of playing into bare minimums.
Wookie, what are you doing?
Oh, the stun missed from Daenerys
Here
ultimate comes
comes
out.
the stun, though, from Syndra. Badger able to get some work in, but now he's going to go to sleep. But the shutdown is able to come in here. I don't know. Ooh, on the back end, though, Jace is able to get some kills. Wookiee is going to die, though, eventually. Aatrox does have the flash
Flash
for it
here.
to secure it.
Yeah. 2-for-1 right now, right?
2-for-1. Deer is here, but now Deer makes a big mistake, miscalculation there. So much for that 2-for-1. Now it's a 2-for-2, and now you got to be careful. Casante's still on this backside. They are going to flash, and now Resilient is possibly... Nope, they didn't get any, but now Casante's on this back. Does he come in? Does he engage? Okay, so now they're going to be pinched. Now Tom Kench is coming in. Now Resilient is here. Are they content? Aatrox is going to get himself in trouble. Fort goes down, and now Dog Davis again on the run. Knows he's in trouble. Turns back in. Stuns against, but Resilient is going to be able to finish this out. Here comes the barrier. Now Jace comes in and secures the kill. I think they were going to wait, but they didn't want Resilience to die, which is good. And now they're going to ping for Baron. Teleport coming out. Wookiee is going to be able to get here, and now Lilia is on the way, so Resilient needs to be careful here. But what was a 2-for-1 turned in for a 2-for-3, and looks like it's going to be a Baron as well.
Yeah, and they just got over aggressive, right? My favorite saying is break the wrist, walk away. A little bit of a ode to Napoleon Dynamite, one of my favorite movies. They broke the wrist, but then they kept going for more, right?
They kept going for more. Now Bran gets in,
right now.
Bran is going to die here for the efforts. But I will say this, Wookiee pushed right into Badger, and they were not able to rotate like they want. Like I thought they were going to rotate to Baron. So I don't think that Bran knew that and got caught out by himself, because I think everybody else was intending to rotate, but Wookiee wisely just pushed in, and they just collapsed on Wookiee, and Wookiee's like, okay, fine, I'll fight 2v1.
Yeah, and you know the 4-1 that we saw be so aggressive for bare minimum. This isn't really the comp for it, right? And so they're trying to team fight. They're trying to take these skirmishes, but they end up the one trade that they won. They just pushed too far, right? Flash forward into the enemy's jungle to try to clean off Resilient and Silver Nighthawk, and leads to the pinch from T1 Jace. And so the level heads of Clown Gaming are coming out in this game too. They're not falling into the same traps they did game 1, and this gold lead is ballooned up to about 6k. And yeah, they have the Baron secured. I'd like to see them pressure these lanes a little bit more. We see T1 Jace on the bot side. We've seen over and over. Aatrox has to get out of this lane matchup, right? Somebody else needs to match.
We do have a pause coming in. Yeah, I wanted to add on to that. Like, we kind of talked about this for folks that weren't aware when this was going in. In this Protected Kog'Maw, we were kind of talking about, well, the win con, obviously, for BM is to kind of win this before 32 minutes, before the Cog can really settle in and get the fight and take these fights. Now you're in a situation where you've got a deficit that you don't want to have, and you're running out of time. And again, the blitz is completely negated at this point. So now it just feels like it's a 4v5.
Yeah, I don't think Blitz has had a bad game. Like, if you look at his KDA, he's 0-1-8. It's just like the champ can't really do much now. The opportunities for him to punish on the Kog'Maw were kind of taken away by not understanding how to punish effectively, right? Instead of freezing the lane, making Kog'Maw kind of like walk into you and try to get experience, get denied farm. They just kept pushing it on repeat and then missing these hooks. And then Tom Kench was the aggressor, going around the map, being where he needed to be, making sure these objectives were taken securely and in a timely fashion, where, Blitz really didn't roam at all. And this is kind of the result, right? Everybody else lost out. I mean, Singer's having themselves a pretty good game. But you're right. This team has gotten so beefy, and the team fight is just so easy to manage for Clown Gaming Blood Moon that what do you do? And right now you're just kind of resorting to looking for picks on people that you're going to have a tough time really, picking off.
I will also point out, and there'll be some people that might hate me for saying this, I don't like the Syndra build with all these tanks. Where is the anti-tank build on the Syndra to kind of get through some of these tanks? She's opted for a burst, but she has nobody to burst. I don't understand that build. I really don't.
Yeah, you'd like to see like the Leandries come out. And Bran has it, right, and Bran's also opting into that magic pen. I'm assuming it's gonna be Shadow Flame coming out from Syndra. Now I will say, like, the burst is okay because you can only Tom Kench eat. If we get out of the pause here, with a little bit more of a delay, you can only eat one of your carries, right? And it's very clear that Lilia and Kog'Maw are going to be doing the most damage in these team fights. And so it's really going to be up to Syndra to be patient with the ultimate. Wait until the Tompkins ultimate comes out and then ult the other carry. That's really all you can do. Because if you're ulting the Cassante, if you're ulting the Galio, you're kind of wasting your time, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a pickle. BM puts themselves in there. Their win con kind of faded, and now comes because of some of the misplays. 6K gold lead, and your clown. So just
Now,
keep doing what you're doing, and we should see a better result from last game.
yeah, I don't want to be all doom and gloom for bare minimum, right? Because we talked about it. The map is available to them. They have so many towers they could take to get some goals in their back pocket. And Jira's just gonna be caught out.
Meanwhile, Jira is going to be caught
He
out.
gets
Is
away.
going to flash immediately, and they're content here to say, hey, you don't have any vision. You want to come in the soul? We're here waiting for you.
You talk
So
about these
then.
beefcakes. Ocean Soul. I mean, that's just gonna
Yeah,
kind of be the
that's yeah. Ocean Soul. I didn't want to say it before, but now you get the beefcakes with Ocean Soul, and it's like, okay, how do you do enough damage with those shred to these tanks?
Yeah, Syndra's actually gonna match the
Jace
Cassante.
immediately says, okay,
Cassante's
come with me.
matching
Is gonna
Jet.
flash away, but Badger is in trouble. Jace is gonna continue to eat him. Here comes the ult from Ashe to save the day, and now just taking damage from the stun. But Jace is saying, okay, fine, hold on, wait for it. Here comes Galio. He's coming into the party. So Cassante able to get the kill on Syndra in the end there?
I think Syndra died to minions.
Or did Syndra die to the minion there at the end?
Unfortunate. You're actually gonna lose up on both sides of the map. You brought the Galio away from the objective they're trying to take, but there really just is no answer for bare minimum now. Like, you just have to play around potential picks for a Blitzcrank, and that might be what they're doing, overloading T1 Jace here.
They are coming for Jace, but Fort is already in a lot of trouble here, so he needs to be careful. Here comes Dira, though. It is going to be a 3v1, but again, Cassante is content to take this fight and just push through. He knows he's going to die, able to get locked up, and now Tom Kench, again, Dog Davis. Dog Davis caught out again, and now you have Wookiee here just kind of blocking so they can just run down Sinner. I would love to see what happened with Dog Davis on what he was doing there. But yeah, this is going to cost them a tower and most likely an inhib.
Yeah, and they're actually opting not to.
They opt not to push through.
Big
Abound does
Abound.
get caught out, but now Abound is back in. Now Wookiee's coming in. Now they're turning back onto the fight, realizing that, hey, we have gold. We can win this. So now the inhib is going down. So interesting decision making there. I don't know why they were walking away. Now they're going to come back, rotate around to another tower.
I mean, it was.
I think they wanted to
buy. Abound, right? Abound didn't panic when he got flashed or pulled. Actually, opting to flash Q the team, ult, and then be like, "Hey, we're in the lead." Because we see there's just no answer for this siege from.
It's a lot more beef, and now this time with the protected Kog'Maw, you do have range, and it's not something we really talked about previously, but even though the wave clear is there, Dog Davis's position and Brand's position in this game has cost them a little bit in terms of trying to clear out some of these waves and trying to move around. So need to be a little bit more careful with that.
It's interesting too because we talked about Syndra doesn't have the Leandres. I mean, Ashe does have the board because we see
Ashel is coming out. They are going to land, but now Galio is coming back down into the Abound tanking for quite a while there.
Yeah.
So again, Wookiees just their ultimate they're just backing up. They don't want to fight. They want to spend their gold. They know they got a lot of gold. Now Dira is pushing through. The flash is out. Gonna burn the flash. So they were like, hey, we need to get away. We need to spend this gold. Good adaptation from BM saying, hey, we're down, but we're not out, and they haven't spent. We have. So tried to push it, tried to be the aggressor, but now you've got the gold being spent for this next Baron fight, and it is a 9k gold lead.
And there's just no damage from bare minimum, right? Because the Syndra actually doesn't have the Leandres. Instead of acting into Shadow Flame, which would have been beneficial, goes
the Banshees.
the Banshees for a little bit more survivability. Dog Davis, I mean, you see it on this super minion, right? Like, they throw out a lot of autos, but they tickle. Like there's no damage behind them, and so yes, like good potential punish or good trying to punish an overstay or catching out while they're backing, but just not enough damage behind the attempt.
Yeah, a little bit of Dog not having the best of games here, plus the added benefit of Abound just being terrifying along with the Cog. So now you have this big giant lead, and I'm not certain how BM is going to recover.
Well, and it was interesting. Cloud Gaming actually being really smart, starting up the Baron and then trying to suck bare minimum into the fight. It's really the one way they could have lost this game. Is by getting Brand ulted in the Baron pit with the magic resist shred, and they were very aware of it throughout the game. Right, they never forced or overtook this Baron, this objective, and so good on them for looking for the smart play, seeing that bare minimum wasn't going to match, and so gets a free Baron, and if all goes according to plan, it should be a pretty fast way to close out the game here.
Protect the Cog now. We're at the 32-minute mark. I predicted that if this game went more than 32 minutes, it would spell doom for BM. So we have hit that 32. They do have the Baron, so we're gonna have to see if they're gonna try to push a fight, maybe get this Brand in, get a really good pick on Abound and Resilient. They are doing the 3-1-1, which I don't like. I want that Wookiee to be over there. You want to be able to get all these targets around this Kog'Maw. So that's the one kind of, hey, be careful. Opting instead to take the fight to Fort. Jace is eating a lot of tower damage, though, but Wookiee is able to get the kill out. Jace is able to move away, but tower is now falling. They opted not to push the fight bot with the number advantage. Instead, the Brand and the Syndra are kind of late to rotate, so that's going to cost them a tower, going to cost them an inhib, and then on this bottom side, just going to lose this out and bleed objectives.
Slow bleed, right? And we're getting to the point where, with the Baron buff, the Syndra, the Brand really can't help with this. You see Dog Davis just putting it on.
Not doing a lot of damage to the Wookiee, really, when it's all else said, and they're just content to bleed. Wookiee is going to get eaten by Tahm Kench, and Dira is going to immediately pull the Kog'Maw. But now here comes the Syndra, is able to get the shutdown, but Abound is now just going wild on this team. Double kill coming out, finishing Dog Davis again, just on the run all game. This poor Dog Davis, and down goes BM in this game.
Yeah, definitely very different style game one. Clown Gaming said, hey, we don't have to play as aggressive or as skirmishy as they want us to. Play a little bit more smart and end up taking that game two pretty convincingly. Some stories from that game. Dog Davis, you alluded to it a little bit, but just seemed to be getting caught out all the time, right? I don't know if it was just miscommunications from the rest of his team. I don't know if it was just lack of awareness, but kind of hard for the Ashe. Basically, your only source of AD with how the top lane matchup was going. Getting put so far behind despite, like you said, Tahm Kench roaming around early was pretty brutal. And then, it just got to the point where they were so tanky, Resilient, and Abound were doing so much damage. They had the stopwatches available, really good adaptation, to prevent the Syndra from ever killing anybody. And it was a pretty clean game too from CG Blood Moon.
I love the Tahm Kench rolling around, just kind of rolling with the map. Not even just protect the Kog'Maw. I mean, he left the Kog'Maw alone into a Blitz Ashe combo, which they didn't punish early, which I was frankly shocked by. Every time we actually a couple times we turned around back to bottom lane, Resilient was at full health and Ashe was at half health. I was like, wait a minute, that shouldn't be right. But yeah, I think the combined with the Syndra's choice of items there, which is kind of weird when you're playing in all those tanks, and instead trying to get the burst that you landed a couple good ults on the Lilia a couple of times, able to catch. Although don't know what happened to that one ult into the Jace, but really just all around much better, much cleaner game from CM. A couple of mistakes from BM, but hey, it's 1-1.
Yeah,
You
best of
came
three.
out firing. There's still time to make adjustments. I would 100% expect to see that Tom Kench banned out. There's no way they're going to let that go back in, or at least if you're going to allow the Tom Kench, pick something other than the blitz, maybe to deal with it. Maybe something more maybe something a little bit more applicable. Or hey, it's been a long time since I've seen a Vayne come out to kill some tanks, so maybe bait out the tanks again and then bring out a Vayne. But
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it'll be
we
interesting.
shall see.
Bare minimum, from what I can tell. Actually, I shouldn't speak on which side they're picking. If I'm bare minimum, I would pick red side, right, and give your top laner a little bit more favorable advantage. Because we saw when he did get the counter pick in the Garen on the Cassante, he was able to do pretty well despite how lane went. They are opting to take red, and so kind of follows that logic there. But I mean, 2-1 Jace, stellar game two. Game one, a little bit, a little bit wishy-washy. Game two was rock solid, and the way the rest of the map went, it didn't really seem like bare minimum was able to play through any lane. Like they seemed like they were just trying to do their best to respond to everything Clown Gaming was doing, but instead they really need to like take a step back, focus on what they can control, um, and go from there. And I'd expect to see um, some presence or some picks and bans thrown to this bot side uh, to try to get their ball laner ahead.
I would expect to see at least coming out with something for bot lane and then really playing around the top side. Interestingly, that the Syndra, typically has a lot of value early on into some of these matchups. Weren't able to really, especially with the item choices. I'd be really curious to find out what was going on, why they picked the items the way they did on the Syndra. I think if they would have made a couple changes there, at least with the items, I think they would have had a better chance in some of those fights, or at least given Ash more time. Unfortunately, I think there had to be some miscommunications on some of those. Plus, when you're playing a brand jungle and you're playing a Syndra mid, and really your only tank is the Blitz, who, sorry, is not all that good of a frontline tank. He's more mainly there for picks. It does mean you need to play a little bit safer on that ADC side. So their comp a little bit harder to pull off. I would expect, hey, we're 1-1. We're going to get back into more of a brawl. I would be interested to see if they could do like maybe a Nautilus combo coming out. To if they want to stay with taking these fights, I'll be really interested to see what this next draft is going to give us.
Yeah, I will say Silver Nighthawk played around the map pretty beautifully, right? Especially because Resilient was never able to be punished by Doug Davis and Dira. So it'll be interesting to see, right? Does Dira say, I mean, bot lane didn't really go well. I need to be matching Nighthawk around the map. Or do they opt into something like you're talking about, like a Kaisa Nautilus or some sort of like kill lane and force Nighthawk to stay kind of babysit their AD carries? So will be interesting to see how these teams adjust. I'd expect, to give 420 um, the opportunity to get a counter pick to kind of turn the tides there in top lane. And then I expect to see lots of emphasis on this bot lane, either taking away things that Resilient and Nighthawk have shown that they're willing to play or they can play effectively, or to put Dog Davis and Dira in a better position to punish.
I agree. I prefer the kill lane option. It worked beautifully for them in game one. I mean, we even joked about it in game two. If it ain't broke, it don't fix. But again, I don't think it broke, but it wasn't really played in that same exact way.
Yeah, and I mean, part of it is like Dog Davis did get caught out pretty frequently, um, but then opting into like an all attack speed build that really didn't do that much damage. Um, it'll be interesting to see if they still prioritize the Ash. Um, it's a best of three now. You still have a game cushion to kind of play with and to try to either throw a curveball or to show something new. And so if you're gonna do it, it has to be this game, right? Because then it gets down to the wire, and so we'll have to see what happens as we get into draft. And the Ivern immediately hovered.
Immediately banned out. I would like to see Dira come out with a Nautilus, and I kind of want to see what our Dog Davis can do with Samara, who kind of wants to be in the middle of the fight and has a good track record on that Samira. So kind of want to see if they're going to come out with that one. Again, respecting Abound with that Viego. Bare minimum of saying no, we're not playing Protect the Kog'Maw again. Blood Moon wisely saying, okay, well, we're going to take the Kaisa away too. So now are we going to not see another ban thrown at the top of the jungle here? And we're just gonna bare minimum's gonna say no to Syndra. Okay.
Okay. And they said if we can't pick a B1, you're not going to be able to pick it as well. So
That's right.
yeah, I expect the Lilia to come through, and it does.
Lilia comes right back, but now bare minimum, Lissandra's on the table if they want to run the list now. That's been denied prior, and Cassiopeia as well can kind of shut down some of Lilia's combos by using her combos correctly, so she can come out in response as well to help block the Lilia. Or do we go more of I was gonna say, are we gonna try to punish the Lilia earlier, go after her with the Vi in the jungle? So we do see the Vi coming out.
The Talia is still up too. So you could see if Vi Talia just slammed 1-2 here to put some pressure on mid lane onto Wookiee Monster. They don't have to pick it here, but it could be taken away, I guess. But with the Lilia pick, it's probably not under threat. So maybe we wait to see it till 3 instead. It's gonna be Orianna.
Bare minimum does come back with the Orianna and great ball delivery with the Vi, so plays very, very well, backing up not only ball delivery, but being able to apply the shield to Vi to give her some additional with her double shield stack. So very, very good combo.
I would have liked to see, instead of a Vi, this is just getting nitpicky, but the Jarvan, I just think it's like a better champ right now than the Vi. It's a lot easier to play around as well, as we see Galio, Tom Kench. And going to be the answers for CG Blood Moon. Galio looked great. I mean, it was kind of like the offensive lineman game too, right? You couldn't complain, did its job. It wasn't flashy, but did what it needed to. And then the Tom Kench, which proved to give bare minimum fits, going to be locked in as well.
So again, with your point of the J4, I like the J4 in the first 18 minutes of a game.
True.
After 18 minutes of a game, I would prefer the Vi. I do think Jarvan is easier to play around with, but he kind of falls off a lot quicker.
There's that Vayne you're talking about.
I was expecting to see that the Vayne come out if the Galio and Tom Kench got shown. I kind of think they might have been baiting this just to go ahead and do it, but yeah, 100% I was expecting that Vayne if they did it in response. The problem though is now
gonna get banned.
Your supports, yeah. I would 100% ban all of Vayne's good supports.
Lulu Milio. If you're not a fan of Lulu ban, you could ban. I think Soraka is actually pretty good. And what?
Leona as well would be a common choice to ban out the Leona, but yeah, I would Emilio. That makes sense. I would go ahead and keep the Lulu, and I would go ahead and ban the Leona. But that's just my personal preference. The Leona Vayne is the kind of the classic kind of. Okay, you wanna lose a tank real quick? I'll show you how to do this.
We could ban Cassante. Poppy's hovered, but Blood Moon has shown that they'll play Cassante every game.
I see. I don't agree with the Camille ban here. I think with the changes to Camille, not as good, not as much burst, and just all around. Yeah, is the potential that Camille can jump on a target. I just think they might have preferred that Cassante ban in there. So it does look like rather than the Leona ban, let's go ahead and take the Rel ban, which is kind of the other pick that you would run there. Interestingly enough, the bare minimum chose to ban the Poppy, which was a tank, rather than the Cassante.
It's also interesting that they didn't opt into banning any ADCs that could be ran with this Tom Kench. So you have stuff like Varus, Jinx that kind of do well into the Vayne. You can even see a Caitlyn angle come out here as we see.
Show me Draven.
I expect it to be locked. So Lulu, I think Lulu is really good in this comp for a couple of reasons. One, Vayne Lulu, obviously a really strong pairing, but two, Vi runs into this issue that's kind of like Nautilus, where all you could do is go in. But now that when you go in, you have the Oriana ball and potentially the Lulu ult to back you up, and cause some disruption in these team fights. So we'll be interested to see as we see the Varus hovered. And I expect it to be locked as well. And I probably will be poke Varus if I had to guess.
I would think so too. I think you're right. But given what we're seeing, you want the poke. And basically, you're just looking for the poke the vein, get her out of lane, make sure she can't CS, and then as we're setting up for the objectives, again the poke Varus to ensure that if they want to fully continue and push through, then they're gonna get punished for it. But I'm not certain I like the Mord pick here.
Line's a little interesting. Now, I don't know if 420 has any like Mord counters in his pool. I'm not particularly aware of what he's been playing in solo queue or what he's played throughout the league split. But you have stuff that could be really good here. You have stuff like a Jax in the vacuum is really good. You could go Darius is an interesting pick, and it's gonna be locked in. Okay.
I like the Darius into this pick because with the Galio and with the Tom Kench, having the Darius in there along with the Vayne ensures that your tanks are not gonna to stand up. But now we have the opposite of what we've been talking about the last few matches. Bare minimum is lacking a lot of range because the Vayne wants to get close. The Vi wants to get close. The Darius obviously wants to get close, and then you kind of have the damage from the Oriana, so you don't have a lot of wave clear for any sort of siege, and you're trying to be really really close. I'm not certain you want to be close to the Lilia and the Varus there, so
Yeah.
kind of an interesting adoption there. But now they're going to run into the same issue that we saw in reverse from game one.
Well, and I think as well, if you're looking at this comp and saying like, hey, if we think Lilia is B1, we're gonna pick Vi. I don't understand why you just don't ban the Tom Kench instead, because now that Vi, that point and click tool that's so easy to execute, kind of gets negated because as soon as it comes out, Tom Kench he just points and clicks the carry as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Vi kind of navigates that. Granted, it'll still deliver the ball depending on the positioning of the carries there, but not as effective tool for taking out a Varus or a Lilia. Kind of a miss in my opinion. But I think you know from what both teams are showing, the Varus pick excellent into the short range like you were talking about. But I think now bare minimum, they get the counter in top. Darius could maybe play a little bit more aggressive than he did. F 420 did in game two. And this Vayne, if able to scale, then if able to be buffed up and carry these mid to late game fights, will do tons of damage into the Mordekaiser, into the Tom Kench, into the Galio. So we'll have to see.
If you're Mord, who do you ult?
Probably it's tough. Probably Oriana or Lulu. Just taking away some of those team fight tools, right? The Lulu. Yeah, I don't know if you ever. I mean, you probably kill a Lulu. But you can't. Lulu can't ult anybody, or vice versa. Like the Oriana, you can't get the Oriana ball off. Would be my guesses. But I don't know. Anybody but the Darius if the Darius gets ahead and the Vayne.
In the Vayne, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, no, I don't want to ult these people. I want them to stay with the available. I think how the Mord plays is really going to spell it for Blood Moon. Because I think you're right. I don't think you want the Darius. I don't think you want the Vayne. I think you want to target the Lulu, Oriana, or at worst, grab the Vi. Even though if she's ball delivery, the ball's still gonna go out there. Predictions are live, and who you got this game?
Well, I've been wrong. I'm 0-1 right now on my predictions. I think CG Blood Moon's comp is probably a little bit more easy to execute and stuff that they've shown comfort on. The Lilia looked really good game 2, and I don't see a reason why it shouldn't look good game 3. The Galio is gonna do its thing, kind of be the glue of the comp. Where I do get a little bit nervous is like you're talking about the Mordekaiser pick. I don't know if it's the best blind, and if the Darius gets ahead, could change the outcome of the game. But I have CG Blood Moon in this game 3.
I'm with you. I do like bare minimum's adoption here. I absolutely 100% love the Vayne, the Vi, and the Lulu. We're going to make sure that we can get to this Varus and make sure we can deal with these tanks. But the execution phase of this really depends on, again, can you buy the Vayne enough time in these fights? And my issue is going to be on a 4-1 setup where your only front end is the Vi. The Vi's job is to go in. When the Vi goes in and Darius is top lane, now you're left with the Lulu, Oriana, and a Vayne against all that tank. How much time can you buy the Vayne? So their execution needs to be spot on. Otherwise, Blood Moon is running away with this game.
Yeah, and talking about the Vi pick, I know you like Vi. I think Jarvan is probably just a little bit easier for this team comp because now Vi is saying, hey, this is where I'm going. This person is who I am ulting. Now you got to do it past the Galio, past the Tom Kench, past the Mordekaiser. And so it's going to be really hard to actually navigate this pick, in my opinion. Now, that being said, if Vi pulls off some shenanigans or gets some help from the lanes for the early game, it'll look a little bit better. I don't expect that to happen, though. But like as always, we'll have to see how it plays out on the Rift as we get into this game 3 of finals.
Game 3, here we go.
Still got I didn't know that it'd be so hard, yeah, for me to relax, finding my purpose. I don't know what makes me happy, don't know what makes me sad. I sit around and ponder emotions in my head. I give up, no matter what I do, not here, no. I try so hard to stop, I give in to every single bad temptation. And I just wanna feel like a good person, a good person. When I wake every single morning now, I give up. No matter what I do, I give up, I give up. And I just wanna feel like a good person, a good person. When I wake every single morning now, I give up, I give up. I just wanna feel free without any expectations. So many people think they know me, but they only know my music. And there's so much opportunity, so hard to make the most of it. When you feel so depressed and your bed whispers just to stay in it, I think I've had enough of it. I know that I'm not gonna win. Surrendering my everything, I'm giving up, I'm giving in. Nobody understands what I'm going through. Can't explain when you don't come from it. I give up, no matter what I do, not here, no. I try so hard to stop, I give in to every single bad temptation. And I just wanna feel like a good person, a good person. When I wake every single morning now, I give up, I give up. I give up, I give up, I give
All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to Game 3 of our championship series here. Actually, Game 4, right?
Game three.
Game three. That's right. Hold on. I was like, wait a minute. All right, so now here we go. I was expecting maybe not some sort of crazy invades. Exactly what we were getting here. It would be more of the traditional 5-point now. Nothing crazy.
Good ward by 420 to suss out the little invade, and then another good ward place to get information on that red buff for bare minimum. And so, little interesting thing to note: they took out the ward experience this patch. So, even if
No more
Lilia decides
shenanigans.
to sleep, won't be sharing that experience or anything with anybody. Now, some rune choices here. Cineris opting into the Halo Blades, so I expect a little bit more AD to be coming out from this Vi pick. Not your stereotypical bruiser build, maybe a little bit more of like the assassin build some people run. We also see Phase Rush for Badger, so gonna lose out a little bit on the damage, but a little bit more on survivability. We see Resilient opting into not press the attack, excuse me, the lethal tempo, when we thought it would be poke. So this Vayne will have a little bit of an easier time in lane, as we see T1J's getting the level 2 advantage. Does have Ignite.
Did take Ignite, did not take TP, so we'll have to see how that chooses to play out.
Yeah, 420 as well with the Ghost. So both top laners not having TP, which will make these objective takes a little bit interesting. So we see some trading out in bot lane, but I think both teams are content to not do much in this early game, not really overforce. So we see Nahawk get a cheeky little Q there. Now, I do like the jungler's pathing here. The volatile lane is topside. Both are going to be pathing towards that lane. And right now, so we see Badger get engaged on, nothing really doing.
I do like the jungle, but what I want to see, especially a Vi Lilia matchup, is I need to see this Vi go into this Lilia earlier and try to pick a fight.
Okay. The ghost coming out from 420. T1 Jace pops the
A lot
W.
of stacks though, but does Flash does have the stacks, able to get away. But here comes a bound. Talking about a level 3 Lilia
Vi's gonna
again.
be
'Cause
here
they were
as
playing
well.
on the side, but here comes Vi on the backside of this. We'll have to see what happens because now bound can be collapsed on, but doesn't look like the chase is there. Fort blowing the summoner spells there to try to secure the kill. Not able to get the first one, but do like to see, instead of losing a trade for once, actually getting ahead there. But
Daenerys needs to
now
be
could be
careful.
punished for this if
Galio is here to secure that crab. Once again, opting to give up some tempo in his own lane to help out his jungler and top laner. And so crab does go over to the Lilia. We'll go back to the blue buff, and so it should be, well, I don't know. Vi has Krugs to take, so I wonder if they stick around and try to punish this Mordekaiser that does still have flash, or what's gonna be done here?
I think that was the intent. He knows that he doesn't. But I think Fort might have gone too early. The flash is coming out though.
Ooh.
Jace made a big misplay there. Going in the first blood.
Calculated, right?
Good for
420,
calculated.
Calculated. Yeah, flashing forward, not knowing that the Vi was opting to not get any scuttle crabs, instead try to get their top laner ahead, and does so. So really, really good to see. Considering how game 2 went, 420 was kind of just getting bullied a little bit with that Cassante matchup. So gonna have to see now that 420 has a lead early, what he can do with it. I think this will be the first game where he really has an established lead early.
So I think we're fixing to see some shenanigans, but if you missed it, Nighthawk used Tom Kench to get over the wall so they couldn't see it, and then is hidden back here. So now what's going to happen is they don't know he's here. They are going to see when he walks over this particular area, but yeah, they weren't able to. I thought they were going to get cheeky with it and try to secure the kill, but not able to get that play executed. I did like to see it though. It was pretty smart adaptation here.
Yeah, it was a good staggered back. I think they would probably get away with it if Dog Davis wasn't already in the lane. I think they were able to see with that ward and tri-bush. Dragon actually started up. It's going to be an early Drake take, and it's Chemtech. So it's a Drake that most people are willing to give, but it doesn't look like... It does look like a Bound's willing to give on the wrong side of the pit.
Yeah, I think early on he thought about going for it, but he saw that the position on both lanes was not in the best of efforts for his team, so wisely says, no, we'll go ahead and give it this game.
Yeah, and now it'll be interesting with that Drake being taken so early. His T1 Jace actually has
Here comes Jace. He does get the 6, but Fort does pull him in and is going to get a lot of damage on this on these tower shots, plus the stack is able to secure the kill, so you love to see it, but you got to be careful now. This Darius gotten a 2-0 lead on the Mordekaiser, who did opt to go for boots first there because of that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, smart boot choice, right? The Vi, the Darius. You know, definitely want armor when lifted into the top lane island. But, you know, this is going to be a different adaptation. I think game 1, you know, despite Cassante being piloted less optimally than game 2, was still able to get an early lead, and so this is actually the first game 420 is actually has now a sizable lead, right? And so it'll be interesting to see how like Clown Gaming respond to this. This top laner isn't really one that you can really play through now, and you know, while mid and bot they're not behind, so to speak, they're definitely you know, even, but we haven't really seen them play around that side of the map, you know. Game 2 was all about playing towards that top side, having Tom Kench unlocked and roam towards mid, towards top lane, and so will be interesting to see how they adjust.
I will also say they did a second adjustment. Dira immediately, as soon as the Tom Kench was walking over the ward, immediately pushed into Varus, drove him off the lane, denying some CS and pushing him back to his tower. And then after losing CS, then they tried to push the tower. So another kind of smart adaptation that we were talking about before, making sure that they're playing macro a little bit better there. So Wookiee, again, down a little bit in CS, probably took a little bit more damage than he wanted to.
Yeah, tower goes to Resilient as well, but it's going to be split between Silver Nighthawk and himself. So, you know, I'm always a fan. A lot of people don't know this, and I don't think it's been changed with the patches. As actually Dira's looking to stop some backs. Has level 6 to compared to level 4 from the Tom Kench. So
Because
lots
of the
damage
roam,
going
but
out.
it is a Vayne early on, so the damage is not exactly terrifying here. But
Vi
now
is
they got to
down
be
here.
careful. Vi is here for this play.
Resilient
Dog
doesn't have
Davis,
enough mana to do
but
anything.
now here comes a Lily on the backside. Sleepy time, but then it can't really follow. Wookie is able to get back into the spike, though. The lick from Tom Kent securing that kill onto the Vayne. Not who you want that going to. Now the shield on the Ori is here.
And
Dira?
Deera's doing some damage.
Dira? Almost. So close.
Now it's kind of interesting, right? The kill does go to Tom Kench, which kind of feels bad, but you save your AD carry, but there's a good chance that he's gonna lose out on most of this wave. Smart lane assignment to expect them to go mid. Galio is actually gonna pick up this farm bot, and so everything will even out in the end. Nice little pickup for the Tom Kench. But 700 gold for bare minimum, which like I said again, like this is the first time we've seen bare minimum with a a lead in the early game.
And now you put Jace up top in an interesting position. He's used to being the aggressor, and now he can't really push into the Darius because you know the Darius right now is going to win the 1v1.
Yep. Now it'll be interesting. 420 actually has a really good ward, but he's not going to see this Tom Kench coming up.
He is not, and he did. And
know.
Jace actually, Port didn't take the fight all that well. Actually, I thought Port was going to take this fight, but he really didn't want it. And now Jace is able to get the kill. Now, Nighthawk is here, so you want to see them make sure they can try to punish the Varus down bot, freeze the lane, do something like we were talking about before. But again, trying to push to tower from the looks of it.
Well, I'm okay with the push here because it'll give you tempo for the dragon, right? I expect them to, play for stacking Drakes. You do have the Vayne, right? You do have the Orianna, so scaling is the name of the game for red side.
Are they going to go for this dive? It does look like they're going to try, but Resilient has his ult. Immediately response there, so they do blow the ult to make sure that he can't continue with the dive. And now you got Galio coming down on this bottom side, making sure that he's going to give up his farm again.
Yeah, now it's interesting. Both objective timers are coming up relatively at the same time, about a 4-second difference. And so I think, the dragon side is favored for red. Vayne did use the ultimate there, but with
So
the
did
change of Vera's ultimate, so Badger still has that, big shockwave combo available to them with the Vi. Tom Kench still is not level 6.
I think that's the big difference. Tom Kench needs to get 6, but it does look like they're going to trade the Drake over and go ahead and try to secure Void.
Yeah,
little grubbies.
It's gonna be 6 grubs for the side of CG Blood Moon, but they really don't have great siege, right? Especially with Varus opting into the on-hit build path. They really don't want to hug these towers too close with the kill potential coming out from bare minimum, and so 6 grubs. Yeah, it feels bad that they got all 6, but you'll take two dragons for it any day.
I think you're good with that trade. You take that trade, 100%.
Now it's kind of interesting though. Darius gets the kills, but is now down 20 CS.
Is now down. Yeah.
So we'll have to keep an eye on how top lane does shake out. Now, it might behoove Vi to start ganking the lanes that don't have the comp Kench.
Vi needs to watch out here. She did go for the steal there, but took a lot of damage in return. Kind of wondering if Abound is going to try to get some vision and maybe sneak in on the backside and try to take out the Vi. Nope, doesn't look like.
Yeah, they have their interests pretty well warded as well, so they'd be about to be sussed out pretty quick. UZC, Silver Nighthawk.
Well, you
actually
do see
to go in here. Flash.
He did opt to go in, but Abound did not hit the combo. But interestingly enough, here comes the teleport out from Orianna. So Vi does get caught out. Ori is here, but so is Wookie. And he really didn't get much on that wasted TP.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting because the Orianna, actually lost out on a mid-wave.
Yeah, bunch of mid-wave, yeah.
And Abound not willing to let these guys go for free as
Is not, and Wookiee is still here on this backside, so he's
Badger's
coming
still here.
around. And now the what we were talking about before with the poke damage, I'm wondering if now we're going to see a dive here coming out on this side. They're in favorable if they want to push through. Lulu's in trouble, Vayne is in trouble, but now Vi is back.
Available with the ults combo with Badger, so they're gonna
A lot of health, low health bars though.
I think they're gonna back off. I think they got the objective they want. They broke some of these plates, right? Now, granted, it got shared between 3 members. I think Galio is the only one that didn't get a part of that. So not like the greatest use of gold funneling with those plates, which we see T1 Jace. You know, despite the early setback, still showing that he's the better top laner throughout this series.
The struggle is real.
So we're looking at Drake coming up in about 2 minutes. Rift Herald has just spawned as Dog Davis is actually taken really low. The Condemn misses on the wall, but Silver Nighthawk.
But they have not been able to back, so they have been bled. They've tried to maintain the tower, but they have not been able to get back.
Resilient has to be careful here.
Resilient should not be that far forward, but now we're seeing a bound coming over, and this is what you want to see. Tom Kench is going to side. Here comes the damage out. Dira's in trouble. Dog Davis needs to be careful as well. He's fixing to get popped. The damage is coming in. Vi was able to survive for a little bit, but now Bound is here, getting the damage out. Here comes the Vi. Bound is chasing down Dira. That's fixing to go down, so Bound getting the double kill. And now you got Badger on the run, caught in no man's land. Badger does not want to be here. I think they were trying to give it to Resilient, but they're scared of the ultimate.
Yeah,
they didn't.
Between games, we talked about how, like, you know, game 2 felt like a lot of bare minimum was responding to what Clown Gaming was doing, rather than, you know, being the aggressors or being the one to force their issue. And so the response coming out late, and really
Resilient finds Badger.
Now Resilient has to be careful, but should be fine with the barrier. Barrier was used though, so Badger at least getting a summoner spell for the trouble. But very quickly, this game is kind of going off the rails. You know, it was about 700,000 gold lead that bare minimum had. Now down to about 3K, 3.5.
And what you were saying about before, you would have rather see the J4 with this combo kind of playing out. The Vi is not able to get into favorable trades and positions, whereas at least if you had the J4 in there, you probably would have been able to at least lock down and given this Vayne some time. Because Condemn is now missed twice.
Yeah, and you know, I think J4 just probably has a little bit more survivability as well. And I mean, we talked about it, right? The Vi, I'm not envious of what this Vi has to do, right? Because they're trying to do this combo. It's contingent on them going in, but they got to go in and either ult somebody, and Tom Kent immediately ults that person. They got to go in and immediately get taunted up by the Galio, as we see the top laner of T1 Jace actually get that top tower. And so unfortunately for 420, wasn't really able to do anything with that lead early. Maybe misread how much that ignite would affect his ability to win the level 1 or the 1v1.
We do see the Vi coming out, but immediately goes, that's a Tom Kench. I don't really want to stick around here. They need to be careful here on the backside. If Wookiee chooses to ult on this backside and drive a wedge in between them, but okay, they wisely started to get back together. It looked like they were spreading too far out there, but now we are going to see this dragon contested. They are going to push the tower here, try to get some vision on this backside, and then they're content to say, we've got beef. Come get it.
Smite was used by Cinerus, so it's not going to be up for a little bit. Let's see what the actual...
Oh, and now they're holding on into this. Immediately, Mort is going to catch out Cinerus and gives him a nice little trip down into the ultimate way. Tom Kench is able to get away. Jace needs to be careful, though. He is alone. There is a Vayne there. He needs to be careful. Now Fort is in big trouble. And now here comes the cleanup. Dira is going to go down. Lilia Bound just doing work on the backside. Badger getting caught out by Jace. Is Jace going to be able to get away? But yes, he is. Double kill going over for both. Oh, my goodness. Nobody lost. The ace coming out, and... yeah, the wheels came off in that engagement.
It goes from bad to worse, right? It was interesting. Smite was used by Cinerus on that Rift Herald to prevent the tower from going down. It was 50 seconds until it was going to come back up.
And then they rotated to the dragon.
Yeah, if you don't have Smite, what are you doing there? Like, you kind of lost that. Like, we'll talk about it again. We're losing out on the map because we're trying to respond to too much, right? We need to be able to identify, like, what can we take, what can we contest, can we do these things, and if we can't, we gotta go make another play somewhere else, somewhere on the cross map, whether that's top, whether that's getting prior mid, you know, a variety of things that bare minimum opted not to do any of them and gets aced for their trouble.
Painful losses along the way, and really, your Darius got an early lead. He had control, lost control, and nowhere else on the map right now. So now you have this Vayne. You have to give this Vayne time. But now with the objectives you bled and the goal that you've lost, can you hold out 15 minutes for a Vayne? Can you hold out 20 minutes for a Vayne? Can you get to 27, 30 minutes?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, right? Cloud Gaming is definitely a team that knows how to play to their advantages. We saw it in Game 2. We'll probably see more of it Game 3. If you guys at home are interested in the gold, this Darius that had gotten the gold lead is now down almost 2,000, and the Vayne that you're trying to put all the eggs into the Vayne basket is down about 15. So, the side that got ahead early, 420, as we're speaking about it, gets engaged on, has to flash away from T1J's. You know, the Darius got to get early, and this Vayne's just gonna have trouble scaling late. So
Dog Davis does catch out this Tom Kench. Nighthawk is gonna have to flash, but now the Vi ult is here. Now they're on top there. No, Nighthawk is on the run. He's not gonna be able to get away from this Vayne now, and no one on this team is really rotating. They are just chasing him down continuously to take this kill. And really, they just let him die. They didn't try to rotate to get anything off of it or nothing. They just kind of let him go. But now Badger here says hi to the Mordekaiser, and Mordekaiser says, thank you for playing. I'm going to smack you a couple of times. You're going to be in my ult, and you're my prisoner. And down goes Orianna. And now here on this backside...
and Vayne had a flash. Somehow ended up being stuck in the pit.
Now you got a situation. He is polymorph. Wookie is going to walk away from this, though. And Lilia's here. The combo misses. Resilient content to just poke damage out here for a bit. But Jay says, forget the poke. I'm going in. But now he's walking away from the bait. He missed his combo, and now they're back on the chase here. Resilient off to the side here. They need to be careful if they try to rotate, because Resilient, not still the best to poke because of his build, but still need to respect it.
Yeah, lots of Sims, lots of ults, all being used. In the end, it was a 1-for-1 trade, if I'm not mistaken, but you're not in the business of trading evenly if you're the team that's behind, right? You really want to get ahead, and so it's gonna come down to, you talked about it before we got into the game, can we effectively use, can bare minimum effectively use the team fight combo that they kind of pigeonholed themselves into, because right now the Vayne's really good into the tanks, but not if the tanks are super fed and your Vayne isn't.
Well, yeah, and that's the big thing here is the tempo has changed to where, hey, we're not going to let this Vayne farm. We're going to take fights now. Your Vayne is not strong enough now to win these fights for you. So rather than opting to let the Vayne farm, well, we're okay. We're okay to take these skirmishes. We're okay to take these fights.
Yeah, and, you know, credit to Con Gaming, right? They know exactly what the opposing enemy team comp's win condition is, right? And they're not letting them play to it, which is what you would like to see a little bit more from bare minimum, but instead, you know, they're letting the tempo get dictated upon themselves, rather than, you know, when they had that lead top, when Flash was used, you know, I didn't punish nearly hard enough, right? It should have been over and over and over again.
Yeah, come right back, hammer it home.
Instead, you know, opted into trying to farm alongside a Lilia, and that's not really what your champ is picked to do, right? It needs to be a disruptor early, and so kind of just, you know, misreading the win conditions of their own comp, and now it's a really tall task and a really tough task to kind of find themselves out of this hole that's ballooned about 7.5K.
So you know you're down in gold. You know you have no vision on Baron. You know Dragon is coming up. If you're Clown, do you go ahead and say, okay, go ahead and take this Dragon. We're gonna march right to Baron. Dare you to try to do it. Or do you just march straight down to Dragon and say, come check a bush for us and see what happens? It looks like they're not even attempting to look at Dragon.
Yeah, which is interesting. I do agree that I feel like Clown, because they have the 6 grubs, right? They should just be playing towards the big purple worm, right? Because if um bare minimum decides like, hey, like they're not on dragon, we're gonna take this free objective. Clown Gaming could just take the rest of the base,
Yeah,
right?
just eat the base.
And so they're losing out on a top wave now that was pushed in by Wookiee Monster. Wookiee's actually gonna walk behind them. They could be in for a pinch here.
Wookie did walk behind, but interestingly enough, now Badger has come around the other side, so he's actually going to get caught out. He decides to go golden immediately, buy himself time. Now Abound is here. He does walk into a Darius, a base check, but now Jace has has a Darius in a trap, and here comes, even with the poly coming out and the ultimate on the Vayne. The Vayne goes kaboom. Jace finishes out the ramp, and now the double kill is coming on from the Galio. Dira is flashing. I'm not even certain why he would flash at this point. Abound is going to catch you with the slow, and now we don't need Baron. We can end right now.
24 minutes. Gonna close out the game probably around 24, 30, 35, but really, really clean game coming out from CG Blood Moon. And despite a little bit of a hiccup early on top side, basically went out on every phase of the game, every phase of laning phase, and gonna clean it out, clean out this game 3.
Very short and quick to the point game 3. Win con is, hey, we know that there's a Vayne on the other side. Hey, we know that you guys don't want to take a good team fight early, and hey, we know that once Vi goes in, your options for protecting the Vayne become very limited on there, and just punished it accordingly. Again, Tom Kench protecting Varas all day long.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what bare minimum decides to do, because I did agree with, let's get our top winner a matchup he's comfortable with, and it did get a lead, but then it didn't, and so I don't know if they go blue side because they have a high value pick. Maybe they try to pick the Lilia away. Maybe they, you know, don't want to let the Tom Kench up, or they go red and try to, salvage that top lane matchup. But um, right now their backs against the wall, and they really got to kind of throw everything at the wall and see what sticks, because it's do or die for bare minimum.
It's do or die. I think you go back to what we saw in game 1, right? We saw brawling, we saw playing through bot. We saw a lot of kills going over to Dog Davis early. This time, they kind of split priorities, right? Like you know that the Vayne wants to grow. You need to protect the Vayne early, but then we saw the pathing. We even talked about it. You even pointed out, Scenarios choosing to give resource to Darius early with the pathing, but then didn't do anything after that point to either feed more to the Darius or to start really going on the bot side. Jace, just looking at the numbers, I wanted to pull it up this time. 18k damage on this Mordekaiser to 7.4k damage on the Darius. So it just did not work out in their favor. But hey, best of 5. They got CM's got to win one more game. Yeah. We gotta see them kind of say, hey, we've taken 2 hits. We now understand we probably need to ban the Tom Kench if we don't have a good answer for it, or especially break up the Tom Kench Galio combo or Lilia at this point. But maybe you kind of hinted at it earlier. Maybe allow that Viego to come through and give Abound Viego and maybe ban out the Lilia if you're not going to first pick it. But yeah, change it up.
Yeah, you gotta do something right. And if you're bare minimum, your back is against the wall. You just gotta approach it like every game is now a best of 1, right? Just one game, move on to the next, and move on so on and so forth. Because they're a team that, they're very, very serious in playoffs. Had to come back and did a reverse sweep. And then since that time, they didn't drop a game, right? These are the most recent 2 games they were able to sweep in the semis, and so they're accustomed to this. They know what it takes, and so if there's a team that won't roll over, it is bare minimum with that that early reverse sweep for them. But if you're CG Blood Moon, I think you're pretty confident That game one was a hiccup. We kind of played to what Bear wanted to do. Games 2 and 3 was more our game, and it went accordingly. And so, you're pretty confident you can close out the series here, as we're still waiting to see what side is going to be selected for bare minimum.
I am kind of interested to see if I'm bare minimum right now. A bounds pick's got to go. Like can have the Lilia. It's absolutely wrecking you. And resilient, you got to get away to get to resilient. Resilient has played, even though he lost the first game, like the way he played the Kaisa, the way he piloted it, like he stayed out of danger the whole time. We got to get some way to break this up and either get to resilient or get to a bound, but get to one of these three. Like Wookie is just floating around and playing through his top and bot. He's not really even like worried about his farm. We've seen him give up, 20 or 30 CS and basically just secure objectives around a bound and resilience. So need to see either A, take picks away from a bound, or B, if you're on that jungle side, maybe like force Wookie one out of playing that Galio, and two, maybe playing through mid and like really pushing the tempo up in mid to prevent Wookie from kind of roaming around here.
Yeah.
Or B, play through bot and force Silver off of Tom Kench and make him stay in lane because he's roaming everywhere right now.
Here's what I would do if I'm bare minimum. Now, I don't know if they'll do this or not. I take red side again, and I ban in order Lilia, Galio, Tom Kench.
Yeah. Take away the full combo or first pick the Lilia
Yeah.
and ban the other two.
I make Wookie play his lane, right? Because Wookie's playing a champ right now. He's okay giving up farm as long as he's there to support his carries, right? I would ban the Tom Kench because we want to punish Resilient, right? We want to punish the carries. But Tom Kench isn't letting us do that, right? And then the Lilia, like you said, Abound's just put on a masterclass 2 games in a row. So we'll see what bare minimum ends up doing, but that would be my blueprint to success. It's just make them play something new, because right now we've seen 2 games of CG Blood Moon playing the same type of comp, and it's gone pretty much without a hitch both games.
I would also, actually BM's done a really good job these last 2 games of sussing out where they're getting the jungle's getting the start, where bound is, but they're not punishing it. Like they're not doing any sort of counter invade afterwards or any sort of push across to kind of punish. The Lilia wants to farm. That the Lilia kind of wants to get to that 6 and then start kind of getting there. So maybe do something. You've had some good wards. You've had some good placements. Play around that. Maybe put Badger on the move a little bit more, or have Fort rotate in and maybe try to steal something from a bound or kind of set a bound back and kind of disrupt that tempo. But hey, it's the best of 1 all the way through forward. It's been fireworks. It was a great first game from BM, so we know that they're capable of it. We know they took it to them. We know they like to take these fights. But it's now okay. Now it's do or die. You don't want CM to get comfortable again. You don't want to see the same thing that you've been seeing from this team. Break this up and go back to what will work for you in the first game.
Yeah, and the Galio pick is letting Wookie kind of not lane. I think both games now. Granted, part of it is Galio just gonna get bullied by these mages early, but he makes up for it because of what the champ does, right? And so if I'm Badger, you're sitting there saying like, I'm laning pretty well, guys, but we're losing out on these roams, and I can't really match, right? I can't walk into fog and have Galio sitting there with Lilia, or whatever. And so maybe just taking that pick away just to make laning phase a little bit more standard for Badger for bare minimum might be good. But like, I mean, I've already given the blueprint, right? Like, I don't know if bare minimum is watching the stream or whatever, but like that would be what I'd do. Just ban Lilia, just ban Galio, just ban Tom Kench because they won pretty convincingly 2 games in a row on them, and just make them play something different. Make them beat you with something else, because if we let CG Blood Moon get those 3 champs again, it should be a pretty quick series for their side.
Or throw something on Badger to give him some roam capabilities. Put him on something like the
Yeah,
Echo, or put him on something that has potential mid to roam.
an
The
Ari.
Aurelian Soul, an Ari, an Echo. Put him on something where he can make some plays, try to catch out the Wookiee. We haven't really talked about like the Viger and the Victor into the Galio. I still prefer the Viger, but at least put him on if you're not going to do that, put him on a heavy super carry farm to where he can push the tempo of a lane, crush it, get a CS lead, and be able to one shot somebody further down the line. But yeah,
So long
something
as
got to
Tom
change
Kench
it up.
is so long as Tom Kench is
Yeah,
out of the
yeah,
game, right?
yeah. As long as Tom Kench isn't there, get rid of that TK.
Yeah. So we should be jumping into the draft here soon. Um, we talked a lot about how bare minimum is got to respond or needs to respond, but if you're CG Blood Moon, I mean, do you really change anything?
Until you see the bans, no.
Yeah.
You're and even then, like folks have talked about it. Wookiee's pull is huge. So if Wookiee wants to play a farming champ, but at least I agree, get him off of something where he's making plays for the rest of the team, and at least make him either play for himself or change something up. But yeah, if the combo's not broke, don't fix it. Just don't get into what you did in game one. That's you already know what happened there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom
There's
Kench,
Tom
come
Kench.
right out. See the Kaisa is kind of interesting because I kind of would have let the Kaisa stay, but interesting enough, they said no, we don't want to play it. And yeah, bare minimum apparently is paying attention. They said no more Lilia, no more Tom Kench. I actually would have left the Kaisa to entice them to leave the Lilia, and then you could have taken the trade if you wanted to, but. Yeah, they went ahead again, take the Ivern off, and interestingly enough, I don't see this Viego banned yet. So, are we now going to see Blood Moon on abound on Viego at this point in time? Are they going to try to
See,
trap it in there
Poppy's gonna be the
again?
man.
The Poppy is the ban
So
rather
is the
than again the
Viego.
Camille. So like instantly we're going to see that Viego come out. Now, can they play and bait abound with the Viego and now play against it? Is what is kind of what I want to see here.
Yeah, I expect with the Poppy ban, it's gonna be a Jarvan match into the Viego, which I think is okay. Like in a vacuum, I think, or Xin Zhao, either one. Which I think is actually Xin Zhao is probably preferable in like the 1v1 and the invades. But now you gotta both sides are gonna have to play around these junglers, right? For CG Blood Moon, the Galio still is available and it pairs okay with the Viego. Um, but maybe the bare minimum decide to take it away here. I wouldn't be surprised for Gallia to be stolen as we see Jinx hovered instead.
Interesting with the Jinx hover and going ahead and
Locked.
locking in. I'm not certain I would have insta locked the Jinx. You still have the Ash on the board that you could have put around there. So kind of interesting that they just went straight into that Jinx plate
I
and maybe.
expected a Jin. So the problem is like Jin is okay in the lane, but it sets up so beautifully for the Viego, right? And it's a champion that like yeah, Xin Zhao hits ult and I can't hit you while you're ulting. I only got 4 bullets anyways. So I'll just run around, put out some CC, potentially look to ult the rest of the carries, behind you. And so Jin's gonna be the answer. Maybe CG Blood Moon, if they want, they have the Galio available. It's still there and it's still good.
Honestly, you have the Galio available, but now you have the Xerath as well. And the Xerath
That's
with the
true.
Jin with the Viego is like, it's so good when you're playing a Viego and you have like a Jin and that Xerath, and they can be, you got a lot of help ultimates and they're still in their lane. So
Okay.
they go
Okay.
ahead and opt into the Hui. But this time, Syndra is available for bare minimum. If they want to play the Syndra into the Hui matchup, or if they want to play the Viger into that matchup, I much prefer the Viger into the Hui matchup. You can punish easier, but it does look like they're going to opt into the Syndra.
See, now I wanted to talk about Hui actually has flex pick potential, right? Jin Hui is a great pairing. It's very, very, very powerful with the poke between the Hui setup for the Jin W and all the damage Hui does just as a champion by itself. A little bit shield for Jin because he's not the most mobile. And so if you're bare minimum, you can't get caught unawares that they could still lock in the Galio that proved to be effective into the Syndra as we see Cassante going to be taken off the board. as Milio is hovered and probably locked Lulu instead.
I do like the adaptation for bare minimum. Again, let's get them off comfort picks here. You're right about the Huey, though. When I asked about it in the first game, because I thought about the Huey being a flex pick too, I was kind of told no. Usually, from when chat was saying that Huey usually is played mid here. They don't really play at support, but you're right. I do like that particular combo. It is a good flex. And now you still got the Mord. Like go ahead and I was gonna you're not gonna leave this Mord up again, right? Like you already got buried by the Mord again. And now Blood Moon, interesting enough, you know what works great into a Xin Zhao and a Syndra? Darius.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if bare minimum actually leave counterpick for support. I wonder if they take top here, because there's no support lane bans, and so I wonder if they're trying to make the Jinx have the easiest time possible. Now, that being said, 420 has shown that he struggles into T1 Jace, and so blind picking on red side would be a move. But it would be showing that you put a lot of faith into your bot lane, which to bot lane's credit, except for the hiccups, game 2 with Ashe getting caught out on repeat, have been performing pretty well. I said Leona is going to be locked in. So not a lot of survivability for the Jinx behind her. It's kind of going to be Jinx fending for herself. With a Viego, if Viego gets ahead, it could be very scary.
Yeah, I was concerned about them taking the Leona. I would have opted for the Nautilus to kind of counteract the Jhin and the Viego a little bit, and then ultimately turn around and Blood Moon's like, well, if you're not going to take the Nautilus, we'll take the Nautilus.
Yeah, and Nautilus Leona is kind of just like a stereotypical trade where if either support decides to go in before the other one does, they typically lose out because the peeling potential from Leo and Not is so good. As Aatrox is going to be locked in for CG Blood Moon, taking it away from bare minimum's Fort 20. And so if I'm looking, I mean, honestly, like
you take the Ornn, right? You take the Ornn here?
Ornn is okay. Malphite I'm more okay with. Ornn gets a little bit bullied early into the Aatrox and then really bullied late. The Malphite, you have the Q. And so it just makes it so Aatrox really can't do what it wants to do in the lane. And it also sets up the Xin Zhao and the Syndra with those ultimates, right? So we'll have to see what bare minimum, what CG Blood Moon, how they decide to approach this early game. I expect CG Blood Moon to do what they've been doing. Look to be aggressive with the Nautilus hook potential. We'll see if bare minimum decides to stack a bush. We'll see if they just put down early wards and walk away. We'll have to see. But maybe CG Blood Moon throws him a curveball and just doesn't do anything level 1, which might be good because despite them invading, it's been bare minimum getting the advantageous wards for information in those games.
They have been. It would be really good time, especially with the Nautilus, to kind of bait out something from the first few games. Maybe do a little switcheroo that was played against them when they had the blitz when they came around. Maybe we'll see them try that with the Nautilus, and then ultimately catch out the Malphite early and give an early lead to the Aatrox. I could see that happening. But I do like bare minimum here. They took out some of these comfort picks. They said, hey, you know what? We know Abound is really good on the Viego, but now we're willing to face it. We're gonna take the Syndra match in the way. I would have preferred the Viger into that particular matchup, and giving yourself an additional kind of like, hey, we have a hyper carry if it get late, and we've given some additional protection to Jinx. But I can understand the Syndra pick. But again, the Malphite, again, singling. We're gonna do more of this team fight. We've got this layered CC. We've got all these different tools. We got engage. We got disengage. So they put themselves in a good position here. And Blood Moon, in response, they got some flash here. We can see a bound on this Viego go crazy. We can see this Aatrox go off. We can see this Jhin get a super lead and then just not being able to deal with. And then Huey, I don't know how this man all of a sudden goes from doing no damage to, I've never understood this champion. He goes from doing no damage to instantly deleting a team in the river. I've never understood how that happens.
So if I have CG Blood Moon and I'm looking at bare minimums comp, I have the first pick Viego. I like playing aggressive with the Viego. And I have Jinx scaling on bot side and Syndra not doing much into the way. So if I'm this Viego, I'm trying to get into the opposing jungle early and often with my team behind me, right? If he face checks into Xin Zhao, Xin Zhao will win 10 times out of 10. But if he does that with a way that's pushed in mid, or a Nautilus that can come up and hook, or an Aatrox that's been winning in the 1v1 most of this series, this Viego can, like you said, cause a lot of fireworks to happen in this game. So we'll have to see. With all that being said, Asher, who do you got?
Righteous Soul Keeper and I have a long-standing tradition of betting against each other. So I'm coming back for my points that he claimed for me. So clearly, I'm favoring Blood Moon, and on this one, I'm getting my points back this time. You bet incorrectly, sir. I think Blood Moon is taken home. This is 3-1. Their macro has been better. It's been cleaner. Resilient is still just popping off, and Abound is now on Viego. So time to bring this puppy home. They're your champs. That's my pick. How about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna side with CG Blood Moon as well. I think the Viego comfort, the fact that most of these lanes have gone the way of CG Blood Moon, and then just combine everything with the fact that it was a pretty demoralizing loss that Bare Minimum had in Game 3, just because you couldn't really get anything going. Right, the one thing you did get going got put down pretty quick, and so I'm gonna go with CG Blood Moon as well.
All right. I am here for it. This should be an exciting either way. I mean, either way we win, right? If we get to 3-1, we were right. It happens this way, or we're wrong. It's 2-2. We're going to game 5. Either way we win.
All right, with all that being said, we will be back here after a short delay for game 4 of this Crusader finals matchup. We'll be right back.
Here's Bernie Marino on abortion.
This is not about women's choices.
Absolute pro-life, no exception, no exception, no exception.
My position is crystal clear, has not changed on abortion.
Maybe potential game clinching game right away. Cyber going for it with the Nautilus. Interesting. We talked about this before. They had opted to get really good vision. I like the adaptation here. They knew that the Nautilus was probably going to invade. They did the standard invade, and with that knowledge, Deer able to get in and again get the vision down. And then on the other side of the field, Fort and Cineris getting that vision and might be able to do something cheeky here in a
They
second.
haven't dropped the vision yet. Okay, there we go. I was curious to see if like they're gonna try to group on this blue buff, and force out a bound, but both junglers are gonna be mirroring clears once again. The difference being Dog Davis is down that flash, right? And into a Nautilus Jhin is not a great place to be. So we'll have to see. I mean, obviously it's a 5-minute timer, and it'll be up to a bound and Silver Nighthawk to really make sure that lack of a timer is punished. But so far they've been able to do that, as we see Resilient just immediately walk up and say, hey, this is my lane for the next 4 minutes.
Yep. I also want to see Badger 100% punish the Wookiee very early, set him back, get a lane, and do not let him roam and affect another lane.
So we'll have to see. Nice little adaptation from 420. I'm gonna go W max with the grasp. I think that's fine. I think your Q is there to get you out of trouble, not to really poke down an Aatrox. So gonna make this Malphite a little bit more beefy coming out of lane. The caveat being it can't just die to the Aatrox.
But with that said, if the Aatrox gets lead, it'll all be for nothing because Aatrox is just gonna go right through it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if Viego and Aatrox get ahead, those are two champions where they can really just run away with the game. So we'll have to see. So far, so good for bare minimum. You're okay giving up a little bit of farm if you're the Malphite. So far, you've only really been punished about a wave for the lack of flash. So you're gonna be about a 400 gold lead, but I think with the comp that bare minimum has elected to play, you're okay with that.
You're okay with that, and more importantly, you want the Badger to be able to push ahead, maybe do some surprise roams and catch somebody off. Make sure that Wookiee is not first somewhere. Looks like they got a little close there.
Yeah, that was almost stolen. I'm surprised that the smite didn't come out. Maybe he just didn't know that the W was coming through. But you know, we talked about the win cons for bare minimum. It's up to them to actually play for them, right? Because so far, despite you know, game one being the exception to the rule, they've been playing to what CG Blood Moon wants to do, right? I'd really like them to be like, okay, we're okay giving up, you know, Drake or early grabs. We're just gonna trade for the opposite objective, because you really don't want to be looking for fights early with this comp.
Nighthawk walked over that and is going to get punished for this accordingly because he did walk through. Meanwhile, on the mid side, a Bound is on Cineris. Xin Zhao is in trouble. Bound is going to flash over here, and Syndra is not going to be able to protect it. First Blood going over to the Wookiee, and now the knockup picks him to come out. Is it going to come out? The double kill going over there. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Resilient is burning. Is it going to be enough? Nighthawk in trouble as well, but able to get out.
Yeah, Dog Davis and Dira ending up, you know, taking an advantageous trade, but I just got done with talking about, hey, we're okay giving up these objectives, or we really don't need to fight. We're the ones scaling. And then lo and behold, somehow Cineris gets caught out. I don't know how Badger didn't have flash. Wasn't able to flash away, and so quick 2 kills going to the Hue. So this dream of unlocking the Syndra to go roam is going to be a lot harder now that Hue can just perma push.
I'm not certain Nighthawk would have liked what happened if he did actually land that hook into Dira, but
yeah, we see Cineris down here. They look for a tower dive, but
I do like it. They know they're low. They know they haven't backed yet. Really good to come over there, but now he needs to be careful and not get caught out.
Yep. But I'm glad they didn't go for the dive, right? They knew that they didn't have the numbers advantage or wouldn't shortly. Instead,
take
they
the
opted
dragon
to
instead.
They did Drake. Yep, exactly. And you know, getting an early Drake for the scaling comp is really good, right? Because you're giving yourself a win condition. We could play for Drakes, but it also makes it so that you can give up the next two without feeling too terrible about it.
Nope, I like it. I like the adaptation. They're down, obviously, you know, down gold with the Hui, but able to make the adaptation. Take that Drake, take your free thing. But now you need to watch it. Jace, what are you doing, my man?
Oh, he still goes down. Jason's doing a flash. What was he
Jace,
saving it for?
I think he thought he was gonna get away with the dash, and he didn't need it, and he didn't respect the Malphite.
Very interesting stuff. He does have the TP, he does have flash, but that sets yourself up to give away grub. So not going to be able to trade for this early Drake. Very interesting as we see.
Wookie lands it on Syndra. Can he finish her off? No, he put it just too short. And now Dira is the one roaming. You love to see this part coming out, the flash used, but now Abound says, hey, we know you're here. Sonaris is in trouble. He's not going to be able to get away. Abound is able to get the kill here. Here comes the reset. Now the stun is landing on Fort. Fort is now going to get saved by the stun from Badger, but Jay says, hey, come back. We're not done yet. But Bound flashes forward here. Jace is here. Abound is going to take this kill on Fort here in a second. Going to take the reset, say thank you, and then maybe go straight into his lane. No, he doesn't. He opts to go back and not take the farm there. He says, yeah, I'll come back.
So Bound's going to be able to pick up one grub. Now, Sonaris was able to secure two, which means you only need one more to limit the voidlings from being spawned. And kind of interesting though, because you know Fort 20 did get the solo bolo, but didn't have the ultimate available. Heavy trading going on mid, and so I feel like after the second grub, you should just try to walk away, right? Or even the first one, because you didn't have any more tools available to you.
Brazilian does get caught out in the tower, is going to take some damage. Dira does roam immediately, is going to land a stun. Brazilian is on the run, but Nighthawk is able to go ahead and stun up Badger and then land the root. Now here on the backside though, Abound is still here up top doing damage, but going to take a bunch there. Would have liked to seen the first part of that particular play to see what caused that, but
yeah, and you know, T1 Jace has to be careful. 420 is gonna have the ultimate tick over here in a second.
But now Dira is getting caught out. Nighthawk is here. The stun is up. Abound is here. Resilient is here. Oh, Dira does go ahead and opt to do the stun on Resilient and forcing them to go ahead and try to get that kill out. So Abound says, "Okay, I'll take this kill." Oh darn.
I think Resilient probably would have gone down to the ignite, but has the cleanse available, takes away the last bit of damage from that summoner spell, and so wasn't able to trade from Dira and kind of got caught out in no man's land. And so we're seeing more and more that you know, CG Blood Moon is dictating the pace once again, and bare minimum just can't get out of their own way. They keep getting sucked into it.
I do like that Dira is roaming a lot more. I think it was more impacted by the switch of lanes that they did early, because Hue was already 2 points and went down below, and they put him mid. But now again, you got Dira kind of roaming around. You kind of like to see that happening more and more. But Abound on his Viego, you know, about as advertised. Gonna get a little bit here, but here comes Nautilus down here on the bot. He is coming around. He did get spotted out, so Nighthawk is going to be in no man's land. He does dodge, does land the root. Abound is coming in. Here comes Resilient as well. He does miss on the ability, though. Nighthawk can now force the flash. Abound doing a lot of damage to the Sonaris, but he is also forced the flash, and now they're on the run. Dira gets the stun, lands it, gets the kill over to Sonaris, and now we've got Hue here arriving, coming through, but Resilient needs to be careful. He got a little bit too close there and almost got himself in trouble, but the Abound able to get out at the last second. Wookie eventually did show up, but hey, BM says we'll take the fight. We got the kill.
Syndra being able to roam first there was pretty huge, right? So kind of going back to what you're talking about, being able to unlock the Syndra and make, dictate a little bit of that tempo rather than being dictated upon. You got a little bit dicey there. Wookiee probably, if Deer, Badger, and crew decided to overstay, would have had a big ultimate opportunity. But bare minimum actually, made the right play. They got the pick and got away. So showing a little bit of a maturation improvement throughout the series.
Maturation. You also see them kind of hovering around, trying to get these
There's
wards, trying to
Seer.
visions. Wookiee is going to get caught out here. Dira is here. Great roll from Dira. Does catch out, but now Abound is coming back. Nautilus is going to land a stun up on Dira. Resilient is going to get some damage, but Abound is in trouble. The CC layering is great, and now Jinx is actually taking it to Resilient and chasing him down while Nighthawk is going down. Resilient is in trouble trying to get anything to get off of this Jinx, but here comes the flash. And a misplay again from CM, and this time Badger with the roam, able to get in position with the Dira, take it to Wookiee, and turn that CC around.
Yeah, and we were just talking about, bare minimum couldn't get out of their own way, and we saw they actually made a play instead of being, play being made upon them, and wow, what a turnaround, right? 4 for nothing, basically. So really, really good stuff from bare minimum. Now they still have a little bit of a gold lead to climb, but you feel good now. You've secured yourself 2 dragons. Your Jinx is ahead. You're still playing scaling. Top lane is way more favorable. 420 on his Malphite is okay going down farm because he's gonna be useful in the team fights. And despite a little bit of a gold lead for CG Blood Moon, if you're bare minimum, you have to be feeling pretty good about where you're at right now.
You gotta feel good. The one problem I will say is Jace has a slight CS lead and is on Aatrox. So I don't know if they want to try to get him ahead at this point of now and try to push this lane and play through top for a little bit and let bot settle. Because at this point, Jhin needs to farm. And he maybe not want to take these fights down below, and maybe took it somewhere else. But here comes Dira again, taking it to Nighthawk and saying here. But now on this backside of this play, they are going to land him up. Wookiee not able to just, he's not insta die way yet. Resilient does land a little bit of CC, but doesn't follow up with Dog Davis because he has to.
Yeah, half health, and we were talking about we really wanted Resilient to be punished.
This is gonna end well. Yeah. This is not gonna end well for Resilient. I think he now realizes that he doesn't want to be here no more.
And now that Tom Kench is out of the picture, Dog Davis and Dira have been able to dictate the tempo here in bot lane. 30 CS up, 3-0-3 on this Jinx. You got yourself a win condition if you're bare minimum, and now you just gotta play to it.
You've been roaming. You've been able to punish Wookiee on his roam. Badger doing a great job on with Dira, kind of getting ahead of these roams. And now we're seeing on his backside the Nautilus and the Hwei not going to being there and working out a little bit. I'm still kind of fearful of Jace at this point in time. We haven't really seen him with the team fights.
The laugh span. Dude, I know that Aatrox is getting a sizable CS lead. He cannot do anything into this champion, right? Like, it's gonna be so hard for him to kill in the 1v1. Actually, he might.
No, he has the BC. So the problem is he's already stacked the BC. Fort is not completed yet, and Fort's gonna have to make a tough choice here on his next round of items. So if he gets a kill or two, it's gonna be super hard for him to stay in lane. Very bold move, but Jace to come into this fight, miss all around from Nighthawk. You still have Fort on this backside. He doesn't have much health, but a mouth-timed ult is all you really need. A bound is kind of flash away, but he is going to get stunned from Dira, and now there's some trouble here. Nighthawk is on the backside, but he's going to go down. Hwei is nowhere near, and neither is Jhin. So they'll go ahead and collect a kill, and now they're on the hunt because of what happened earlier. And now Brazilian's going to flash away. Dira's going to go ahead and say, okay, we'll take that flash away from you.
Yeah, and a Jhin without flash is... You got to play scared, right? As is Wookie, I think, is looking mid. Takes a couple tower shots.
But yeah, he's gonna take the power shots. But look at Dira roaming down once again. If Dira can catch off the Hue, oh my goodness! On the backside of that, Cineris almost got Resilient. But again, Resilient has played so great most of this time. He's able to get away just slightly. And Hue, we didn't get to see it, but I guess he was able to get away from the Leona and Mouth. So Badger, you do not want to be near that. Wisely flashes away to not get chomped down by the demon that is Jace. And now Shelly coming out on mid with that dragon in play.
Yeah, and we saw bare minimum. We talked about how they've shown a tendency to get in their own way. They had the tower, and then try to fight off a little bit more than they could chew. Gave up Jinx's shutdown to
Nighthawk missed it, and I think that's going to cost him. He did not land his hook to get away, so now Dira knows it. He's trying to force the fight, knowing that Nighthawk is out of options, he misses it again. And now you have a situation where they're going to be in control of the Dragon Pit because of that whoopsie.
Yeah, and if they get this Drake, they can give up 3 more before having to play for it. And if you're scaling, you're okay with that.
You're okay with that.
You obviously want to get soul if it's available to you, right? But you put yourself into a great spot. You're playing around your win conditions. Deer's been all over the map. See when Jace has to run away because he knows their whole team's coming.
He might get caught here. He wasn't respecting it soon enough. Here comes the CC train, and that is a lot of CC to be locking stuff down. So not only are you giving up this particular Drake, but you just gave more gold you didn't need to give.
Yeah, and I would have liked the shutdown to go to the Syndra, obviously, but 420, it'll give him enough gold to finally finish his first item. He's been budget gaming on these components, and if you're bound and everybody else, I don't know how really feasibly contest this Drake. Jesus is gonna get excited on the reset.
I think they should have. They realized too late they should have pushed mid. Now again, the Cyber is going to get caught out, and now he's probably going to die again. And everybody else needs to run. They made some misplays, and now they're making some weirder decision choices here. I don't know what they were doing, thinking about the dragon. Kind of a weird scenario there. They had mid. They could have pushed mid and gotten in tower, and instead, here comes the ult again on Wookie. Dira going ham in this tower. Now Abound is forced again to flash away. Jace is here, but his team is gone. His team is not here and can't fight. But Jace, Jin is giving some ultimate down here to give Jace a little bit of time. But now here comes the layered CC response. Jace is going to be stunned up. He's going back in. Abound is back here, but he's not able to secure any more kills. Hang on, Jinx is excited.
Narrowly dodges out that.
Now Nighthawk is back. Nighthawk, you need to redeem yourself here, man. You need to get back in here. Dira has been taking it to you this game, sir.
Yeah, and I mean, Nautilus is one of these champs where when you get behind, you just get to feel it every time.
It feels bad. It feels super bad.
Like you're gonna be a CC bot and you're gonna die. Like you're no longer playing for KDA or for flashiness.
I land my Q, I land my R, I got my root down with my 1 auto. I am done.
Yeah. Now we saw a little bit over extension in that mid lane there. You know, there really wasn't anything for bare minimum to play for. I like them. They have 3 Drakes, but it's almost dead even in gold. And in fact, they're actually exactly dead even in gold, which when you're dictating the tempo, you'd like to be a little bit ahead. Now, granted, most of that gold lead is coming from the Viego into the Xin Zhao, and Xin Zhao, you know, despite being behind, and he played these fights really well. But it's been bare minimum, you know, dictating the tempo, making the plays, not being on the back foot, but instead being the aggressor with Dira, with everybody else showing up when they need to. And so, speaking about it, it might be a tower dive onto this Viego. We see Dira and Malphite up there. Actually, Dira might get caught. We'll see.
I'd like to see a little bit of a tower dive on the Abound right now. But Abound has already sniffed it out. He's going right into the Dira, but he doesn't know that. Ooh, what a slick play from Abound to get away from that. Flashes and then takes it over the wall to say goodbye.
Yeah, but the tower is secured, right? Which is ultimately what they're playing for, and so that's gonna be a Viego without flash. So a lot of kill threat from this member that's been, you know, so good, so far ahead. is kind of taken out of the equation with that flash going down, and so I think you're gonna have an easier time, you know, navigating this team fight. Now the dredge line is still available, fighting in a choke with the Aatrox is a little scary, so we'll have to see how bare minimum approach this objective here.
So they do have the mouth, right? But the thing with the mouth is you don't want to leave him alone on isolated on the lane with Aatrox. They do start. Cinder's got a little bit too close, but the Syndra follow-up is able to kind of negate with the stun up, but a little bit of a chunk damage there. Abound needs to be careful here. The Leona is running around here, and he is going to get poked. But back to that top lane, really what you want at this point is you want this top with this Aatrox, with this CS lead to get ahead. I'm surprised Abound didn't go back to him a little bit earlier to try to give him more of a lead, because it's going to be super hard. But Nighthawk, be careful, sir. I know you're on Nautilus, but again, you've been CC'd a lot.
Yeah, went for the flash Q and didn't get it on Jinx. Would have been a huge pick before this dragon, and so it's going to be numbers even for this objective. And so far, it's been, you know, bare minimum victorious.
Ooh, going right in on there, trying to force it, but not able to land anything. I don't like that Malphite does not have a good ward, and that Jinx has been chased out to middle. They need to kind of reconvene. Nighthawk knows it, and he's trying to punish it. You're going right after Dira. Dira is going to get the one that's going to get the CT chain down here. Maybe Dira's going to ult and sacrifice. Flash is out. Here, Jhin waited too long on that ultimate, and now is forced to cancel. Jace on the backside is able to get the kills, but now excited. Dog Davis is excited, is trying to run down the Jinx. Meanwhile, Aatrox and Hwei are on the side, and they're holding still in, waiting in the bush, but not able to get through. The Malphite coming up, the stun coming up again from the Syndra. This layered CC though. Jace is fighting. Hwei is not. Hwei has no mana. Wookie can't help. Wookie able to get a shutdown, and now Resilient is trying to chase down. Syndra is locked up. Resilient is now. Here comes the flash. Malph is trying to run and save Syndra's life, but what a series of events there. Wow.
Yeah, lots of everything used, right? And the dragon still stands. Now, we were talking about, you know, actually about 1,000 gold swings into the advantage of bare minimum, but we were talking about how they're in a position where they really don't have to contest this if they don't get the positioning.
No.
We see the TP come down from Malphite. I'd really just like them to give it up. It's just one Drake. It won't be the end of the world. And since Daenerys goes in,
Daenerys goes in. He's already low life. He never went back, and now he's down. And now you're gonna have Dira going down here in a second on a double kill. Hopefully going to Resilient. Dira has got nowhere to go. Dira is just running for his life. And now run to Baron. There's nothing to stop you. Run to Baron. What are you guys doing? Don't chase. Abound says, I'm chasing. Screw the Baron. Here comes the hook down, and we're going to barbecue this Jinx. Yeah. Now they run to Baron.
Bad call by Daenerys.
Abound?
There. Abound, you know, despite the hiccups from the rest of his team in this mid game, swings the gold right back in favor of CG Blood Moon. And now this Baron's going to be uncontested. Now, Daenerys is up, right? You said we should just run straight to Baron. So it gives Daenerys the timer to respawn, to run to this red side, but you gotta have to walk past T1 Jace on the Aatrox. Actually, Jace goes over the pit, so maybe they play for the steal. They have vision.
You're gonna send the Jace over there. He's willing to trade that and go back across.
He's in the pit.
You do see the Daenerys come in, but the blue is going to secure. He is going to jump back over the wall, and Badger needs to get out of there. Badger does not want to be around that demon. Badger does claim Jace's life. Jace is going to go down here in a second. I would think, but Jace is going to get the double kill on the Daenerys. Can he finish the mouth of saving his life? But now, here comes the stun up onto Dira. Dira is now stunned. Abound doing some work. Wookie's out of mana, though. Wookie is out of mana. Go down. Abound might go down after the reset. Abound, oh my god, he gets the stun off on the Crusader. The double kill going over. Abound is just going crazy now on the fort. Now Wookie still has no mana. Resilient is going to go down. Dog Davis is excited. Dog Davis.
Now Abound's Malphite. He's got so much armor.
Abound's like, I'm now a tank. You are not. And here comes Nighthawk to say, you're not going anywhere. Quadra by Abound, showing why the Viego was banned out. I'm more concerned about how Wookie in each of these fights has no mana. This poor guy has no mana in every fight that we've seen in the last 5 minutes.
but he's making it work. And we talked about like, does bare minimum know their win cons? They lose out on the Drake. Scenario shows face. He gets caught, leads to a Baron take. Now, granted, that Baron was very, very dicey. Scenarios ends up smiting a little bit early. About able to secure it, and then an extended fight goes the way of CG Blood Moon. And so, we were talking about how bare minimum's in the driver's seat. Now all of a sudden they're down 4K.
We were talking about these missteps earlier. Your win con, you have Jinx ahead. You have an ADC with a lead, with the CS lead, with a kill lead, with a dragon lead. Why would you be in that position? You called it. You said they could give up 3 dragons and still fight for that dragon when they had the lead. Instead, just a huge misplay that swings this.
Ultimate coming out. Jinx is caught.
No, Jinx is caught once again. Abound going crazy, and now Cineris is going to be caught here in a second. He's not able to go in here, and Abound gets another reset, double kill, Baron, 2 people down. This is looking real bad right now.
Yeah, this might be the end of the game and the end of the series. Silver Knight.
Here we come, coming in. Dira comes in, but he's not able to fend this off. He's going to get knocked up. Abound now trying to claim him. Oh, Syndra does save Abound. And meanwhile, this whole time we've been talking about this, Aatrox is just marching down up top. Not even caring about these fights, not caring anything. He says, I'm just going to chew through everything. Malphite comes in, does land on Brazilian, and down he goes. Wookiee is able to do this. I think if Aatrox had been there, this would be again over game. But now he's here. Jace is showing up now for the fight.
Jinx is up.
But the Jinx is now back up, and now they're going to have to misstep and get on the run. They're in trouble. Wookiee's fixing to go down, and yeah, huge misplay from CM. If Jace just goes down mid with the rest of them, this game is over. Instead, he chose to take a second-tier tower when they were doing all that fighting.
Now, look what Viego's
and
doing,
now
right?
Dragon is in play.
But Viego's staying, opting not to back, really wants to deny this sole point, and so he's massively fed, right? He's got 3.5 items. If he finds a pick, that will be the end of bare minimum chances of coming back in this game. But how quickly a game can turn, right? They were in the driver's seat, and then all of a sudden they threw it away. Now, granted, CG doing their best impression of bare minimum, throwing away a little bit of the lead in the opposing team's base, but is it really going to come down to this drag fight? We can give 2 more guys.
See, I was fixing to say, do you push and teleport now, or do you wait and see? Hue opts to go ahead and do the teleport now. We do see the trade. Nighthawk is going to be caught out a little bit, but they opt instead to try to get on the Wookiee, and they turn around, and now Cineris is getting into this fight. The Malphite ult does land on Resilience. Resilience does manage to get back. Abound is locked up, but now here comes Cineris. Here comes the damage. Dira is locked down in the backs by Jace. He can't get away. Jace is going to flash over onto the Badger and lock them down. Wookiee is still trying to just kite out the fight. The Jinx ult is out. The double kill going over the Jinx. The Nighthawk is going down. Resilient able to secure the kill, and now Jace is just on top of Fort. Fort runs into Resilience, Jin's lockup, and down he goes. The ace is through, and this is game, set, match. Soulkeeper, thank you for giving my points back.
Yeah, I mean, it got a little bit dicey there. I was going to say, you're kind of the bad luck charm. Whoever you bet on ends up losing, but, CG able to punish massively the mistakes made by bare minimum, and punish, so effectively that it's gonna end up winning them the series.
Series and newly crowned champions of Crusader, Clown Gaming Blood Moon, taking it 3-1 over bare minimum.
Man, what a series! I mean, what a sandwich of games, right? Game 1, back and forth. Game 4, back and forth. But the difference being, bare minimum couldn't close it out. Just a little bit of missteps, but that small sliver that they gave CG Blood Moon took it a mile, ending up cinching the series.
I liked what we saw from bare minimum in that last game. Great adaptation. Trying to take out those picks, allowing the Viego through, seeing what she could do with it, having the Dira running around like a boss with Badger kind of roaming in, able to catch out Wookiee Monster a few times, able to just somehow deplete Hue of having any mana in any of these fights for any amount of time, and then just kind of being able to finally get on the Resilient a couple of times there, layer the CC there. So great effort for them, especially that last game. But just the macro play from them all around, all through this split has been really good. And Abound on Viego, showing why probably might have wanted to ban the Viego rather than the Poppy, but
Yeah, I want to touch on something really quick. We talked about how, Jinx was going to be left to her own devices, just the way the team comp was set up, right? There really wasn't like a Lulu or Millia or anything, or Braum to really keep this Jinx alive. That last fight, when Malphite's going in, Xinjiao's going in, Leona's dogpiling, Jinx is left on the back line facing down an Aatrox. And that's kind of ultimately what did them in. Like, I mean, the Jinx, for as far ahead as Dog Davis got in that game, it's top lane. It's the top lane versus ADC conundrum. It doesn't matter how far ahead you are, top lane always wins the 1v1 matchup. And props to both teams, bare minimum, for really showing that fight. Coming off a disappointing game 3 loss, taking it to the wire in game 4, ultimately falling short. And the CG Blood Moon showing what they've shown all split, the ability to win and win consistently. And man, what a series!
all right. Well, Righteous, I've been told that we are going to be joined by our newly crowned folks. They will be coming in here momentarily. So, welcome in, Resilient, Abound, Sliver,
Howdy.
Sliver. How do you prefer to say your name, sir? Was I pronouncing it wrong the whole
Silver.
time? Silver,
Silver Nighthawk. Silver Nighthawk.
and then Wookie and Jay. So, first off, congratulations, guys, on the 3-1 victory there against Bare Minimum.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess I'm going to ask the first question here, if Righteous is okay with it, because the first question I want to ask is, Wookie, how the hell did you have no mana in any fights for the last 8 minutes of that game?
Because my team decided to draw them all out for like 10 minutes each. That was just sitting there autoing.
You gotta find a Viego angle, like
Yeah.
just keep playing the fight.
Well, Abound is always yelling, "I need damage on this guy. I need damage," and I'm like, "I have no mana, but I'll auto attack, I guess."
You're going into the series. I think you probably felt like you guys were the favorite. After that game 1, though, it looked a little shaky. How did you guys kind of regroup and respond after a disappointing game 1?
I mean, we dropped the ball game 1 last in the semis. We pulled it back. We did the same thing here.
It's our pattern, we gotta drop a game to understand what the enemy
It's
wants.
our warm-up game. It's our warm-up game.
Yeah.
Get the fingers loose.
So how did you feel getting that Viego that last game? Was just like,
I mean, I was like in comms. I was like, "There's no shot they leave it up, right?" Like we knew they had to ban the Lilia after like what it's done the first 3 games, or like, if they go blue side, like then we have to ban the Lilia. But if they go red side, like they have to leave something up. And I was like, "There's no way they leave up the Viego," and they did, and it was like, I mean, you saw what happened. So yeah, it felt really good.
That's awesome. Now, going from game 1 to game 4, really, really stellar stuff. Games 2 and 3, really convincing wins. Game 4 looks a little bit shaky again. Viego was doing really well. The rest of the team, though, kind of having some trouble giving up a gold lead. How did you guys bring it back and ultimately win that game?
Well, we just stuck to our win con, which is like Viego resets.
Yeah.
I eventually realized that I was a Jhin that is just utility, and I got my final 2 kills, I think, on the final fight. I think I was 0 kills and 14 assists.
I mean, Resilient, you played a really good, just kind of macro game all around. It was really hard that you really didn't get caught out. You did it ultimately on the Jhin there, sadly, but up at the second tier middle tower. But just walk me through. I mean, the first game, you're on Kai'Sa. You're like, what, 9-1? You got this huge lead, and then all of a sudden, you can't really go anywhere or do anything. Like, did it mess with you a little bit at that point, or walk me through?
Not really. We had enough draft plans, and Kai'Sa first pick was kind of just I mean, I already knew that they were used to Kai'Sa first pick, so maybe on my bad I picked it. But the comp itself was just kind of hard to play as Kai'Sa because I can't really DPS. I can't go in. I just kind of get blasted. So it's only picks. for me. But with champions like Kog'Maw, champions like Varus, champions like Jhin, I can just hit them from like 2 million miles away.
Awesome. Well, I mean, convincing stuff, guys. Winning 3-1. I mean, pretty much this whole split, you've shown that you're top of the only division represented in finals. Any words, things you like to say before we close it out here after our stellar split?
I love my team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was my first chip ever, and
Same.
this was
Same.
like this was the first time like I've been back in competitive like amateur play, so like it was really like it was fortunate that I found these guys because like this was the greatest experience I've had so far.
Awesome.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah,
It's funny,
same.
I
I
pulled the
mean,
bound out of a retirement. This dude got
yeah.
married and then left League of Legends too.
Yeah, I was, chilling, playing solo queue, and then Resi just found the right time. Like it was right around MSI. Like I was watching it, and I'm getting the feels of like competitive play, and I miss it. And he hits me up, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I could swing it. So I was super busy over summer. So if you look back at our first games, like I'm only playing Talia because that's like the only time champion I had to like actually play. But I mean, yeah, just crazy like coming off not playing competitive and actually just taking the win and just dominating really throughout the whole season. Like a lot of times in my past, like I've played a lot of competitive and teams start to fall apart towards the end, and I mean we just held it together and just kept going. So it was just crazy how well like we were able to play together. Just a great team.
You guys running it back?
Sadly, no. Jace decided to hit D3, so like, damn.
Yeah,
Jace hit D3. I'm taking a
Does this guy
break.
look
I'm
like a
going back.
D3 player? Like,
Ending on a high note then.
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
for sure.
Ending on a high note. I will say, we kind of asked everybody questions. I was gonna leave Jace for last because you get the Cassante kind of when you wanted it, and then you get the Mord. And even though you lost early to the Darius, you just still kind of ran through the Darius, and then you're going into this game as an Aatrox. And I was talking about it during midway through the game. Like you're up in like almost 80 CS. You haven't gotten really any ganks. You haven't really been in any real fighting. And I'm like, dude, this Aatrox is going to show up to a fight and blow somebody up because he's just so far ahead. And finally, we get you in a fight. And then Righteous and I are talking about it. Like that last fight, they all walk in, and then just poor Jinx is just left with an Aatrox.
Yeah, I was waiting the whole game for that flank.
He was talking about it like straight up, like for like 15 minutes. Like Resi's like, I don't know how we're gonna like take out this Jinx. And he's like, dude, we've done this before. Like I just walk at them and take out their backline. And luckily they just threw everything at me. And I mean, I was I just soaked the last team fight.
yeah, no, that last fight, literally after Viego did, I was like, wait, is it Aatrox still alive? And he goes like, yes, and I just ult, and I just have like a fiesta.
I want to say you ate 4 ults, Viego. You ate the Syndra ult, you ate the Leona ult, you ate the Malphite ult, and the Zen Zhao. I think you pretty much ate everybody's ult but Jinx in that last fight.
Yeah, it was. I was like, please just take out the Zen for the reset, and
I
like
swear I was
Resi's
trying.
Resi's stepping into like the Zen ult to like actually do damage. But I mean, the Zen was doing a lot of damage to me in that last fight, and I mean, you kind of see my build. It's not like a traditional Viego build. It's more like I felt like there was going to be a time where I'm going to be the only one that could kill the Malphite, so I needed to go like single target, drain damage, and luckily my team was able to close it out after I was out of the game.
Yeah, props to Bare Minimum. They put up a good fight.
Yeah. Shout out to Bare Minimum. They played well.
Coming back from a reverse sweep all the way to finals, obviously couldn't close it out. You guys were too good, but really good stuff. So yeah, I mean, just really, really, really solid all around. We were talking about how that last game, it really was only one mistake, and that was Xin Zhao kind of face checking a dragon that Bare Minimum really could have just gave for free. And then after that mistake, you guys kind of just ran away with it, into Baron, into winning fights. A little bit of a throw in their base, but
Yeah.
you guys self-corrected and ended up closing the game. So really good stuff.
Yeah, we don't want to be like thrown on the yeet list, you know. Like,
Yeah,
gotta show some mistakes.
We had to have y'all at least queue up silver scrapes and then just make sure y'all put it away. So
yeah.
All
There you
right.
go.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys helping me get my points back from Soulkeeper that he's had all split. So that was fun to get those points back. It was an exciting finals. We love to see it. Righteous, any final thoughts before we give these new champs their send off?
No, thanks for putting on a good show. Congrats on the successful season and going out on a big win.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ed.
Well, I believe, Righteous, that does it for us here at the LXC. For Crusader, congrats to our champions. Any final thoughts?
Looking forward to the next split. You guys keep signing up, keep giving us a good show to cast, and do it all over again next season, next split, whenever we're doing that. But yeah, just it's been fun. It's been real. I'm looking forward to seeing what's new, what's exciting, and just happy to be able to cast everything. So yeah, it's been good.
All right. Well, with that, again, thank you as always to our producers on the back end. Gold holding down the fort, being the producer. Obviously, Vish, who does all the amazing stat work on the back end, and so much more. That most folks would go, why and are you crazy? But we love Vish. And of course, obviously, we got to give out to the rest of our staff, and even that crazy guy, Soulkeeper. But for Astroglider, I will say thank you for the split. Thank you for the games. I'm signing out. Till next time.